All right, hello everybody, and welcome to Low Ink. This time in May 2023. Don't worry, we're here. We didn't forget. It is a little bit of a rough start, but we're still here, and we got our round two. I'm here with Keon here as we are starting our round two with Hellbound versus Ominous. Keon, you can probably talk about these teams because I have absolutely no knowledge.
I'm unfortunately on the same boat as you. So, but both these teams are going to be duking out here in this second round. We got our round two map pulls here as well. I'm actually going to be really curious, and see how both these teams how they play as we're about to approach Sturgeon Shipyard zones.
Honestly, I can't even predict anything anymore. We all know what happened last month. I give up with predictions. I give up.
We're it out the window.
A sploosh one lower.
Predictions be darned.
Yeah, I can't predict anymore. I'm betting to see an undercover, maybe a Clash Blaster. That got me messed up, bro. Like, I don't know.
I am no I am no foreigner to any strange weapons here. So hey, everything's on the table really for both these teams. They could completely be dishing out, as you mentioned, undercover Clash Blaster. I would be completely freaked out if they would throw in weapons here, such as the Nova without opening Gambit, for example, there as well. But I mean, anything really goes at this point.
Honestly, yeah, and with how low level it is, you cannot predict. There's so many people in low level that you know, some people just fall through the cracks. You're not gonna know some people. As I said, I don't know anybody on this match. Like, I don't even know most people in this tournament. I only know maybe 2 or 3 teams, and they're just like friends. Like I barely know anybody. So like everybody is a wild card to me. Everyone's a wild card.
I think but I think with all of the teams that are participating here in Low Ink here, we do get to see, like, you know, maybe they'll be dishing out something fun. They got some very fun pocket picks or just some crazy weapons they want to dish out. And as you mentioned, it's just the intrigue of just low level altogether. So I'm very excited to see if they're gonna branch out, just throwing some just random nonsense at us here, and especially when we factor in that it's Sturgeon zones, the large zone in the middle. Anything really could go, and maybe they'll find a way to make it work.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and find out as we get to the comps here. We are seeing a fairly normal comp on the side of Hellbound, and on the other side, all right, fairly noble. You know, you got Splash-O-Matic, C-Tech, Swipers, Machines, Tetras, Ballpoints, Neo Splashes, running the norm, you know?
Yeah, these are pretty typical weapons that both teams are pretty much dishing out here. No surprises to the V-Splash and the Sloshing Machine as well, really, for both of these clubs. As along with the Ballpoint Spotling, which we've been seeing a lot of prominence here in recent times. So it's a lot of fun to see how that Ballpoint will play out to the Inkjet there, as we do see the machine dropping right now. We got Pieman going down quickly here. It's 2 members down right out of the gate. And now let's see how Ominous, how they take control here, as we do see that delayed triple, the T-Tech going down as well.
Yep, they have really good control here, and Hellbound is just being backed up. We see Brandon trying to paint for their crab, but not really just finding enough paint. They got to push up a little bit more to get those last few points they need. They're going all the way back to the spawn, but they have the crab tank at the ready. They're going to be popping it out here. But we're seeing the machine trying to just go from this ledge, trying to see if they can pick off Warrior, but Warrior is going to use a bomb to finish them off there. 2 down on the side of Ominous is really good for Hellbound. That's going to be 1 down for Hellbound, though, as the 1 is Pro Shawa. They're pushing it. Wasn't his name used to be like the one or something?
The one is definitely trying to make something happen there, and they're able to push them off ahead. And then, as you mentioned, the Ominous, they do lose 2. This is going to give time, especially with the crab tank that's just been popped by Brandon, to at least give Hellbound a chance to fight back. They just put Ominous down on those penalty points. And we do see right now, on the side of Ominous, the Sloshing Machine special is available for the Booty Bomb, so I'll be curious to see how they like to use this one, whether they want to displace the other members or use that to attack the zone. But they lose 2 right away as members are going deep. The Wiper goes down as well. We do see Warrior and the rest of Hellbound. They're trying to push their advantages up, and right now they're taking more on these points here. And
yeah, they're taking more of the points after we're seeing triple ink strikes come out on both sides, trying to hold the zone just a few more points, and there is Hellbound going to be able to get the lead, but the 1 is coming from behind, using the Tetris to try to paint that zone a little bit more, but not going to be able to outpaint the entire enemy team. Reef Slider coming in, going to be getting a pick and the zone. That's something Reef Slider can do, and if you know me, I'm on my S-Blast Copium right now. I am on that Copium so hard. They gave me a new Nintendo weapon after 8 years. I'm gonna be on that copium.
Look, Reef Slider will definitely find its way back, and I love that amazing Reef Slider play, coming in from the side, going right into the middle of the zone, and the Tetris, they find one, and the second member as well, which allows the point to be flipped on the side of Ominous, and now Hellbound, they have to regroup here, as now they are out of those penalty points, with the splash, that's 2 members down, that's 3! That's 3 members down! We're gonna be seeing a lead change here with Ominous, and now 23 points going down! Let's see if Hellbound, if they have a quick response back.
Yeah, we can see if they're going to have a quick response here as we see Pieman coming in on the left. Has to back up, though, but backs up a little too far. It is going to be dropped off the edge, and that is going to be game. Ominous going to be taking that first one on Zone Sturgeon. That was a really sad ending for Hellbound with just the drop-off, and they were just held back for so long. Got to the point where Ominous was able to just hold the zone and just keep it and take that win.
Absolutely, and just an excellent back and forth really between Hellbound and Ominous there. As you mentioned, though, falling off the map, not the greatest feeling in the world, especially when the points were ticking down, but then we did see more members going down on the side of Hellbound there as well. A lot of the fights were being won out there. We just saw both teams, they were just going crazy aggressive. Once they saw 2 or 3 members just dropping, they're just trying to go fast and forward, and I do want to give a shout out to those Tetras as well, just finding some key openings with the Reef Slider and then finding even more picks. It just allowed Ominous to just keep on going, and Hellbound, they were just slowly running out of time. Once Hellbound responded, there was like, what, 20 or 18 points remaining. Just not enough time to get a quick push, and they just had to rush in, and it was all she wrote.
Yeah, they just had to rush in those last few points. That's what you have to do. You have to rush in because it's now or never. But they just were not able to break that wall that, you know, that Ominous had. We're going to be going to Tower Haggle now. Now, if there's Hagglefish is definitely one of those maps, or it's definitely more special favored. Tower is definitely the best mode on it though, because it can feel a little more like a little more freeing. Like zones is just whoever has the most specials wins. It's basically the humpback of Splatoon 3. I can't even say that anymore though, because we're getting humpback. We're getting humpback. I can't even say that. It's back.
I mean, yes, we all love to see that Humpback is coming back here in Splatoon 3, but and as you mentioned, you just cannot say that anymore. Tower controls around here. I'm actually, now that we're queuing into tower control on Hagglefish, I love the quick change here. We do see, oh, it's a vanilla tri-slosher there as well, so you'll get to see that Inkjet once again for Warrior. Let's see if Warrior can take advantage of that Inkjet as well. Otherwise, on the other side, Promise, I think pretty similar weapons that we just saw from the previous. Yeah,
definitely really interesting that vanilla tri. You don't really see it a whole bunch in competitive because with Tri-Slosher, it's just outstacked by Tri-New Bow, and if you really want that Inkjet, you could have a more aggressive option with Rapid Deco, or you could have the best option with Ballpoint. But looking into the match here, we're already seeing Fang trying to push up, but getting caught here by the other machine. Gonna be trying to go in, watching out for those torpedoes. They're looking at the left side, just trying to paint as much as they can, trying to push up. Both teams are at a little bit of a stalemate here. One not really pushing up over the other. Warrior in a bad spot, going to be picked off by 2. 2 of them go down on the side of Hellbound. 3 down. It is perfect for Ominous to push up here. The one to be pushing up a little bit more, trying to see what they can get done, as Fang is trying to push back up too. The one and Fang both see each other. One's going to drop off though, but that's going to preserve their life for a little bit. Booyah Bomb going to be coming out, going to be using it on that left side. I think I heard an Ultra Stamp. There's a Booyah Bomb. There's a Crab Tank. My Road is 1 HP.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the Crab Tank and the Booyah Bomb being popped out right now. We do see both teams, however, just train two on both sides. We did see their Warrior did drop in a little bit earlier, which pretty much kickstarted the push for Ominous, but Warrior's able to fight back with that vanilla tri-slash, finding a pick right there. But with Ominous, they're trying to crowd around the tower. They're trying to keep this one going, trying to build the space that they need to keep this push in their favor. But Hellbound, they're still pushing back, and a nice pick onto Warrior, and it will be at least at this point the tower's gonna reset there. But 37 points remaining, not too bad. And now we got 2 members down on the side of Hellbound. And let's see if Ominous if they want to get this push going.
Yep, Ominous going to be getting this push going, but once again, we see the Ballpoint has the Inkjet at the ready. They could push up the tower to get more points, or they can get somebody else to get on the tower for them, as they use Inkjet and try to create openings. The machine is going to go down. You get another Inkjet coming out here, going to be able to ping stripes. Inkjet versus Inkjet. One of them is going to be able to recall. The other one recalls too.
Yeah, all the Inkjet recalling there pretty much means that that's just only going to signal a slight end to that push, and we do see Hellbound. Now they're just putting paint down. They're trying to get all the control of it. Now, as this tower resets, a great thing you want to do, and now we do get to see two specials available, the Crab Tank and the Booyah Bomb available on that side. We do see the Wiper dropping. This might deter some of their pushes here. Inkjet popped up by Warrior, trying to displace the rest of Ominous as much as possible, trying to fly around, and the one is able to find the other, and that will be Ominous taking two members down from the side of Hellbound, and at least at this point, this tower is just going to stay at mid.
Yep, tower's going to stay at mid for a little bit longer. The one has the Ultra Stamp trying to go in, but sadly, the Ultra Stamp is just not protected from the front, and because of that, they're going to be able to go down here. We see Hyman on the left. They have their Wiper. They have the Ultra Stamp at the ready. They're waiting out this ball point, trying to see if they can go in. Torpedo going to create that opening. They have to... they have to survive, but they don't. I have to survive. Oh my god.
And then we'll have to survive here in just a few minutes. Throw definitely not playing any favors there, but Cilio, on the other hand, able to pick off Warrior. The Booyah Bomb's being thrown out there as well, and at this point, we do see that Ominous, they are trying to push up ahead. Ultra Sam trying to displace the rest of the other members, and now we do see another push coming in from Ominous. They do lose the Booyah Bomb, but look at what Ominous has. They got two specials available, Ballpoint with the 8-Jet, and then the Tri-Strike as well. Tri-Strike being used at this point, and it's just painting a little bit of turf at this stage in the game. The Wiper drops again, and now they're trying to push even further. 8-Jet's being popped out right now from Cilio, and let's see if Cilio is able to find any more. No! But it's two members down on the side of Ominous, but also two down on Hellbound, and now members are just dropping left and right. At the end of all this, though, Hellbound resets the tower with a minute left to go.
Yep, just a minute left on the clock here. And the members of Hellbound really have to get something going here, but we're going to be seeing triple Ink Strikes to be able to hold that area for a little bit longer. Bang coming in, along with the Wiper, could be able to pick off their Neo Splash here. Maybe going in, the one frantically running around as Warriors trying to get on them. Going to be able to get that pick. Bang, going in. Booyah Bomb at the ready. They're looking around, trying to see what they can find. Not really deciding, just going to be able to go in that general area as they're going to be pushing up with it, trying to see if they can pick anybody off, but no, not going to be able to get the distance in. You see Warrior trying to shark a little bit, sees the one, gets the pick as they're just trying to stay alive. They're 90 towards that Inkjet. That's going to be so useful for trying to create some space for their team. They're going to be using it, but the other team is using so many specials too. The one's going to go down.
Yeah, we do see about a few members dropping right now. They have to be on this tower. It is at least going to be overtime. But at this stage of the game, we do see Rain is going to be the one on that tower. Now we get to see if Hellbound can push up ahead. They wiped him out. Hit him. They wiped him out. That's going to be at least the first checkpoint. Now they can assert all that control at this point. The one's trying to rush in, I believe, trying to make sure they can get him off the tower. A perfect use of the Crab Tank to defend the tower. And that fight might have sealed it for Hellbound, but they're losing members fast. It's two members down, and they take the lead, and they got the second map.
That was really good last second. Just that insane wipeout gave them enough time to be able to push in, get enough specials, keep them out of their specials, and just take that lead. There was not much of a lead at that point from Ominous, so Hellbound was able to take it, and now the third game is really gonna matter.
It's being an all-important third game, and as you mentioned, just that last fight with the wipeout on screen there, Hellbound needed basically that one fight to go in their favor, and boy howdy, they got all four members of Ominous. And as you mentioned, just all you need to do is build the special. You have the Crab Tank that's just gonna be around tower. That Crab Tank is just gonna plant themselves in the tower and just make it so much more difficult to contest. And they just played that one perfectly towards the very end. And it's just well played by Hellbound. Things were looking a little scary with how far Ominous pushed, but Hellbound, they stayed cool and won that second map. And this third map is going to be a lot more important as we're on Make 'em Art Rainmaker.
Make 'em Art Rainmaker is certainly interesting. Of course, there's two routes. There's the left route, which is the usual route that people take. It goes more towards like the flank side. Usually a side that people don't go on as much in the other modes. But on Rainmaker, it's like the main route you go, compared to the right side, which is definitely a lot more dangerous, as it's right near the enemy spawn.
Yeah, but I've also seen some teams be very bold taking that right side, and especially with Lowing in mind, we could be thrown off our game here. Maybe one of these teams they want to push towards that right hand side, towards the very dangerous path. But But to your point, though, the left-hand side, left checkpoint especially, just pretty much the safest route you could take. Both teams will probably look to take that, but I'm curious to see how both teams, how they want to approach this Rainmaker map altogether. Whether they're going to troll us with different weapons, or they're going to stick to what has worked out so far for them.
Yeah, maybe they switched it. Maybe they have a whole different meta for the Rainmaker, bro. I don't know. I don't know what these teams. I don't know.
I think the mystery is even better each time, because maybe all the normal weapons out the door. They just throw in something crazy. I've seen weirder weapon choices at this stage. It could just be anything, but I mean, I also wouldn't be surprised if it's very weapons that everybody's just used to at this point, as we're about to queue in right now.
Yeah, we're just gonna have to wait and see on what these teams are gonna be playing here as we are getting into this match. We're seeing the Tri-Nouveau coming out alongside the other, meta weapons on Hellbound, and on the other side, yeah, pretty similar stuff.
Yeah, as you mentioned, last map, Warrior was on the vanilla Tri. Now, as you mentioned, the Tri-Nouveau. This is the more popular Tri-Slosher pick there. So not surprised by that change. You got the tactical. You can just keep pushing up ahead. Try to get as many picks as you can, especially with how condensed this map can be in Rainmaker Maker Mart. As both teams, they trade one member, so it's just gonna be just an immediate stalemate right now. They're trying to get as much position as they can. Chiseled finds the pick onto Pie Man, and now the one able to at least take out Fang, but they go down as well. So both teams really just trading left and right. But it looks like with all the paint difference that we're seeing right now, Ominous, they're gonna pick up this Rainmaker.
Yep, they have the first Rainmaker, and they're already pushing it left. See Salio just trying to get to that podium, and they're going to be able to break the checkpoint there. But two of them are going to down. It's only Warrior left alive, though, with that Tri-Nouveau. They can try to use some fizzies to be able to stall it out, and just as I say that, you use it. But they're getting so many points! They're not using the Tri! They got it all the way down to 28!
Yeah, the Tri had to play a little further back to at least protect themselves, but that ultimately meant that Ominous could just push right up ahead. At least the Warrior able to take out the Rainmaker over there, so at least putting it up to 28 points main. And now they're gonna look to just get this reset. So now, wise idea just to get control of mid back and see if they can push up even further, as the Wheel Bomb and the Stamp are coming out here. As all that being said and done, nothing much to note here. It's just one member's down on both sides, and the one trying to duel it. It looks like it will just be two members being traded on both sides as the one wins that duel over Brandon.
Yep, we see the one trying to go for this Rainmaker, trying to see if they can get it, battling most of the members of Hellbound here, as they're going to have to drop, not knowing what they have to do here. They're just standing in the corner, going to be able to jump back and stay alive for a little bit longer, as Hellbound has control of mid here, but the triple ink strikes are going to be coming out. Two down on the side of Ominous, as we see the tactical are coming out on this right side, going to be able to help Warrior out a little bit, trying to take control, as they're going to be actually going left here for this Rainmaker podium, as they're going to be able to get it. They get the podium, but they need so many more points to get the lead, and with two down, and it's not looking good, but the Tetris are going to go down too.
Yeah, at this point, though, Ominous with a nice hold, and really what's key for both these teams, as three members have dropped already. The one is the only one back, so this is going to be looking really strong for Hellbound to at least get Ink down and then maybe get even more points, as that Rainmaker was pretty much near the checkpoint. All things considered, though, the Wheel Bomb being thrown out here, we still see two members down. They pick up this Rainmaker here, and just look at the Crab Tank. The Crab Tank provides a perfect path, and going down to the Suction Bomb, the lead indeed switches, and Ominous now they're having to play a little bit from behind, but what a great push, honestly, from Hellbound, and a good use of the Crab Tank.
Yeah, no, really good use of the Crab Tank there. As we see now, it is up to Ominous to try to make a push back into Hellbound's base. Only 2 minutes left to go, but now they have to get to 14. So that's going to be a little bit rough.
Yeah, now 15 points remaining. They got even more points here, and Ominous still decent amount of time left, about a minute 50 and change left to go. So if you are Ominous, there's no reason to panic. You just be able to play a very similar game. You had a great initial push, win some of those fights in picks that you need in order to get this push going. Rainmaker is going to reset. We see the Crab Tank trying to make sure that Ominous doesn't have any way in, but it looks like right now, though, both teams opting to reset, and Ominous has some decent mid advantage. They pick up the Rainmaker.
Yeah, we see Stripes going on the left side. 2 down, 3 down on the side of Hellbound. This might be their chance to make a push. There goes Pie Man. This is the chance. They gotta go now. They got to go.
They have to go right now. Stripes picks up this Rainmaker, and look at the rest of Ominous. They're pushing them so far ahead, but they only put it down to 23 points remaining. It's not quite enough. They tried to take the upper path towards an Inkling. It just didn't seem to work out, and now 2 members have dropped on the side of Ominous. Oh my goodness, Hellbound with a nice hold, and now the Rainmaker's just so deep into their territory. Ominous had to reset for that one, but they don't take lead off of that.
Yeah, they don't take lead, and now they only have 45 seconds to try to make something work. Of course, they also have overtime if they can make that work too. They already get one down. Warrior is literally in the corner trying to be able to pick them off, to be going for a trade. As we are seeing, most of the members of Ominous here do have a hold of mid, as the members of Hellbound are trying to actually push in here. We see the Booyah Bomb coming out from the machine. The Crab Tank has to run away. There's 2 down right now. This could be their chance, as the one is distracting this Splash. Never mind, not distracting, murdering that Splash, as we see the one trying to come in, but somebody picked off the Rainmaker and got 2 down.
Yeah, they got 2 down. That was huge for Hellbound. Hellbound with a decent hold. And they're just trying to throw as much ink as they can into this Rainmaker barrier. They're just trying to prevent Ominous from punishing it, and a great job to not pop it either. And Hellbound, they take the 3rd map. And now it's 2-1 for Hellbound to this play all 3.
Yep, Hellbound is going to be able to take this 2nd round here. Really unfortunate from Ominous. I honestly felt like they could have won there. I do not know why they took that upper route. I do not know.
I mean, that was such an interesting choice to take the upper path and then try to work around the Rainmaker, but it was a little bit bold, at least from my perspective. They had pretty much everything they needed to paint down on that bottom path. They probably thought that maybe Hellbound was trying to predict that and then try to go probably a little bit more big brain than they could, and then try to cut across for the lead, but it just wasn't enough. They only got 5 points off of that, and with the rest of Ominous dropping at the worst time, it pretty much meant that Hellbound, all they needed to do just hold the line, play defensively, and they were able to do just that, and Hellbound will take that 3rd map to make it 2-1.
Yeah, really good coming out from them. Both teams, of course, are just going to be moving on to their next round of pools. Today is just, 6 rounds of pools.
Yep.
You know, people know Low Ink and how it works by now. It's not underground or anything. But with that, we're going to be going on a short break so I can get something for my throat. Dude, I was fine before, but now when I commentate, I'm 1 HP. What's happening?
Look! Don't take yourself from 1 HP down to 0. We gotta save your throw for this 3rd round here, NM. So as you mentioned, we'll take that quick break, and hopefully we can get NM some more water to fuel him at this point. So we'll be right back for the 3rd round. Hello everybody, welcome back to Low Inc. May 2023 edition. We got our third round here for pools. I'm Kyone, and joining me with a whole sash of water this time for this fella, it's NM, and we got ourselves a matchup between Pearlescence actually versus C.R.A.B as our feature matchup for this upcoming round. First of all, how are you feeling after getting refueled with some more water after what happened?
I'm feeling a bit better. You know, I got my water. I got a full one. I got a bunch of ice in it. I'm trying to I'm trying to really help my throat out here. I didn't realize how 1 HP it was. But again, I don't know these teams. We got Pearlescence versus C.R.A.B. I'm guessing that stands for crabs are really no. Crabs really are busted. That's what it stands for.
You know what? I can agree with that acronym. They really are trying to tell us something. They're trying to tell us something special here behind the acronym here for C.R.A.B. I mean, maybe crabs really are buzzing. C.R.A.B. really are better, but maybe it's the first one. I'm gonna go with that one here as well. First map, by the way, in this playoff reset, it's gonna be Brinewater Springs Clam Blitz. This is a very fascinating Clam Blitz map, especially in Brinewater, considering where the barriers are. So I'm gonna be really curious to see how both teams want to approach it. And as you mentioned earlier today, everything that we know about weapons out the door. So I'm gonna be curious to see what both teams want to bring in here.
Yeah, Clam Blitz, Brinewater. Brinewater is not the best map, but at least in Clam Blitz, it's tolerable. I'll say, it's a nice Clam Blitz map. It has the funny ink rail, but again, yeah, with comps, we don't know. I don't know what these guys are. We going to see Quad Crab from C.R.A.B?
I would love to see Quad Crab just staying true to their name. They're really trying to tell us the superiority of the C.R.A.B itself, but maybe they're just fooling us. Maybe they will dish out the weapons that actually are zero crabs even. So this is just gonna be really fascinating to see how both these teams want to approach it with Pearlescence and C.R.A.B queuing up here for this playoff 3. And as you mentioned, very tolerable Clam Blitz map in Brinewater Springs. Brinewater not really the most well-received map across some communities.
Yeah. But either way, here we are going into Clam Blitz Brinewater, and let's see the comps that are going to be coming out from both teams here. Starting off with Pearlescence, we're going to be seeing, heavy Tri-Nouveau, T-Tech Wiper, usual stuff. And on the side of C.R.A.B, yeah, usual stuff.
Yep. You know what? We can always appreciate all the usuals here as well. I'm gonna be really interested to see how Voidbit's performs on that Tri-Nouveau along with Nyaki on the heavy splat link on the side of Pearlescence. For C.R.A.B, you had the V Splash. I want to see that V Splash really pop off and show why the C.R.A.B tanks are indeed very superior here. Both teams basically gathering clams. So there's going to be a lot of dueling here as well as both teams trade one member down on both.
Yep, they're trading one member down on both as we see Miyaki here with the heavy trying to push in. Has to be mindful of that crowd. They have to be mindful and respect the spacing, but that is over. They can try to just hold that space and mid for a little bit longer here as they're just trying to paint, trying to give clams out, but it's not doing really well here. We see Rev going to be having a ball, and they're halfway towards their triple ink strike, opting to give it back to Miyaki as they're trying to see if they can really find anything to push up with. But now that they have Tacticooler at the ready, but that's 3 down. Even with a pick on Star Shower, it is not going to be enough as they're trying to push in, but at least they have Tacticooler, so they're going to have a little bit of a safety net.
Yeah, but with all that safety net though, the fact they lost that fight in mid pretty much meant that the barrier is going to be broken on the side of C.R.A.B there. So C.R.A.B able to find that fight into mid and then able to take out 3 members and then lead into a delayed wipeout. All that being said and done though, it's just the 1+1, really down to 77 points remaining here. Cytogas trying to work around the sponge here as well. So really not the strongest of pushes, but at least you're getting points on the board. More importantly for Pearlescence, they do get a free power clam for their troubles. They take out 2 members though. Maybe we could be seeing something big here.
Yeah, we could be seeing something big. We see Miyaki has the Super Clam at the ready, getting the cooler. Going to be throwing the sprinkler for themselves. They're going to be putting it in here as we are seeing the members trying to push up, but the Tri-Nouveau is going to go down. Miyaki was trapped under that clam basket, going to go down too. And C.R.A.B has done a good job of protecting their lead by holding their basket area and pushing the members of Pearlescence out.
Yeah, pretty much the same story on the side of C.R.A.B. They got another 1+1, and I did notice immediately the Trizuka coming out there as well. Had that Trizuka been aimed just a little further down, it could have been the pick and pretty much neutralized the push. But all that being said, the hammer gets tossed in, it finds one, and now, but there's been so much fighting here. Pearlescence comes out on top with 3 members down, but the Power Clam holder gets punished. OH just finds 1 member. They are able to get this push in, and that barrier's been broken. They take 2 Power Clams in, and this is just looking to be a huge push coming right along.
Yeah, huge push, but we see the machine coming from that side angle, going to be picking that heavy down. Just 2 left alive. They're going to be opting to putting 1 more in, but they're just getting picked off by bomb after bomb. As we see Rev trying to stay alive, but can't find the aim against that Viper. Could be going down, as now the members of C.R.A.B have to really think about how they're going to be pushing into the clam basket here. Going to be throwing that Ultra Stamp, not going to be finding any picks there.
I mean, not able to find that pick with that Ultra Stand, trying to find a few members onto Pearlescence. They just have to find some of those openings, as you mentioned. Like to see if that Sloshing Machine and the Viper can help build the space, and maybe the special from the C.R.A.B, no pun intended, trying to see if they can find that opening here. They tried to rush in, and they get instantly punished. Pearlescence put a stop to that attempted push, and with 3 members down, we could see Pearlescence. Now they want to try to fight this the other direction. Now they want to see if they can get a push of their own. Wavebreaker's coming out here, trying to displace some of those members entirely. We see 2 Power Clams available, but at the same time, there's still trading happening left and right, but I do see 3 members going down again. Now in the lane wipeout, this is going to be an insanely huge push.
Yeah, no, this is a really good push coming out here, getting down to 14, 11. They just need, like, a few more clams. Miyaki has 3 more coming in, and after that, they only need 1 more to get the win here. But here's Voidmans coming in, and there goes the win for the first game, going Pearlescence.
Pearlescence, well done. They stopped the onslaught that C.R.A.B had. C.R.A.B had a very good-looking push, but I get the sense that they were trying to rush in. They didn't have, most of the specials weren't quite available. Maybe you could have waited for that C.R.A.B tank to help build up the space they needed, and Pearlescence just instantly shuts it down, and then we saw that swing going the other direction. Pearlescence, they had 2 Power Clams available there. They just had to find that opening, and with members just dropping left and right for C.R.A.B, Pearlescence just took it home.
Yeah, Pearlescence was able to just defend their area while also just time and time again pushing in and getting all the picks they needed on C.R.A.B to be able to get so much there. But now we're going to be moving on to Splat Zones on Manta Maria.
Yeah, Manta Maria zones. You got the 2-zone map returning back from Splatoon 2. Some people might miss this map every now and then as well. So I think with what both these teams, what they dished out, I wouldn't be surprised if we get to see those weapons again, and especially with how Manta Maria operates. This is a very nice map for some good not even just just some good sloshing play, but with C.R.A.B losing that first map, they want to see if they can make some minor adjustments, try to see if they can be a little bit more aggressive and be a little bit more controlled in their aggression to see if they can take both those zones and hopefully win this second map for themselves.
We'll see, if that happens. It's just going to be time will tell. We will see if they'll also switch their comps. Their comps will work fine on something like Zones Manta, so I don't see it. But again, you can't predict these people.
It's always the mysterious intrigue with low wing. These people, maybe C.R.A.B will probably just be throwing us out of our game here. Maybe we could be seeing a surprise weapon, maybe undercover, but I personally doubt it. I don't think it's gonna be a great choice. But hey, the weapons that they had in that first map, I don't think it's gonna be too bad for Manta Maria zones, especially. So, I mean, it's gonna be very hard to predict what both these teams want to do. But more importantly, I like to see if C.R.A.B has some small adjustments. Pearlescence, see if they can keep the pedal to the metal as we're about to load in.
Yep, coming in here. Let's see what we got going on. Pearlescence going to be sticking with the same comp, but on the other side on C.R.A.B, we're seeing the Range Blaster come out.
Hello, Range Blaster! Range Blaster with that Wave Breaker. If you can find those awesome picks with that Range Blaster, this can completely swing things around. I like this choice here as well with the Wave Breaker, so but I'd like to see how this will synergize with their team. As, oh no, I just saw one of the members fall down to the water, which isn't going to be great for Pearlescence. Just a quick little respawn, but this might have given C.R.A.B the chance to get both of those zones, but as soon as I say that, they will not capture both. Pearlescence just playing slightly defensively here. Trades on both sides. 2 members down really on both of these teams here. No one really wanting to get both of those zones right away, but now I do see 3 down. This will be Pearlescence taking both of those zones.
Yeah, they got both of the zones online. We see the Viper has the Ultra Sand, but is now trying to find a way in to actually use this. But the Heavy is just watching them, but has to back up, of course, in these triple ink strikes, and of course they're on those crates. Tactical are going to be coming out, but it was a trap! The Ultra Sand saw the Tactical and like, alright, you're coming here, I'm coming you. I'm going to go straight to you.
Yeah, yep, that was a that was very well executed and well calculated as well, just being able to use that ult and able to find out even more as Pearlescence, they take out 3 members. C.R.A.B is having a hard time finding these responses as fast as they can. Now they're going to be trying to take down those penalty points. Maybe they'll see, maybe I could like to see them push up a little bit, try to be a lot more aggressive and make C.R.A.B has no openings, but the Heavy splat lane drops again, and now Bulbasaur finds a pick as well, but really both these teams are just trading, and now it's 3 members down. Pearlescence is coming out on top with these fights.
Yep, and Voidbits is going to be jumping back out. They have the Tacticooler, so they can be doing something like that once again. Could actually be jumping back into their teammate. Still has the Tacticooler at the ready, as we're seeing Cytogas trying to get a good spot, but is going to be pushed down by Niyaki here, as they're keeping hold of the zone, making sure that nobody can push in. Tacticooler's coming online. I hear a Booyah Bomb coming out from that left side from Sylvi, as they're just trying to find a way. Coming in, but Niyaki's going to find 2. The Ultra Stamp is going to miss. That's 3 down. It is just the Range Blaster, and they know where they are.
Yeah, they found sight of the Range Blaster. They take them out. Oh my goodness. Niyaki with the delayed triple, taking out 3 members there, and even more members drop. I think the Stamp took out 2 more, and this is going to swing it in Pearlescence's favor. This is going to be the KO coming in here shortly and taking out the Range Blaster for good measure out from Cytogas. Pearlescence, they're up 2-0. This was just a very good and well played Manta Maria zones map by Pearlescence.
That was not a Pro Chara moment.
No.
I still really love seeing the Range Blaster come out. I am really hoping for a Blaster Uprising, because if people in chat know me and how I play in competitive, I've been a perma support player for like the past couple of years. I play support currently for 1-2 Buckle My Shoe, but I am making a transition because Blasters, especially that S-Blast, looking really strong. I want to be a Blaster player now. I want to be a Blaster player.
Hey, seeing some Blaster playing really from not just you but from others, it's just gonna be so much fun to watch, because those Blasters can just find all the picks and find all the pop-off moments that they can. I mean, really, it was just so well executed. I would love to see the Range Blaster possibly come back in. It just didn't quite work. Pearlescence just had that map on lock as we're about to queue into to the 3rd map here in Ilto LA Tower Control. Very important 3rd map, really, for both these teams, but we say that really for every play all 3, so maybe we could see the Range Blaster coming back, but especially with this being Tower Control, so maybe this could be fascinating to watch. Yeah,
they can either pull out the Range Blaster, or if they want to go for a better Blaster, and the Blaster I'm currently using, and I actually really love using it, the Rapid Deco. Really strong right now, if I have to say.
Oh, absolutely. With the Rapid Blaster, there it is! The Range Blaster's back! You love to see it here.
Love seeing the Range Blaster come back out again. Pretty similar to the S-Blast 92's grounded mode, it seems. I was using Range Blaster the other day. It definitely feels heavy. I'm hoping the S-Blast 92 isn't as heavy as the Range Blaster, but we're gonna have to wait and see here. So we're already seeing the Range Blaster on the tower, trying to get some spacing going on, getting control of the bridge. We're seeing the Trizuka coming out, getting a pick on one of the Pearlescence members, but Voidbits is gonna be taking him out. But that's 3 down on the side of Pearlescence, and that is the 3rd checkpoint shredded for the members of C.R.A.B here, as they're getting back on the tower and trying to stay alive on there. But Rev is coming from the behind, going to be able to get a pick. Cytogas just trying to stay alive, going to be able to jump back out and live for another day.
Yeah, nice hold by Pearlescence. And again, the value of that Range Blaster is if you can find a few members with that Range Blaster, it will be good news. You can kickstart a push very well, as long as you can position that Range Blaster in such a way where you can just find some of those small openings against against the other team, excuse me. Maybe it will turn out well for them, as right now we are seeing a trade. OH now with that wiper, trying to see if they can find even more right now, but looks like the tower is just going to be stuck at 74 points remaining. Pearlescence, nice, decent push, but let's see if they can get a little bit more.
Yeah, let's see if they can get a little bit more. Voidbit's going to go down to that Range Blaster. They're going to be pushing up, pushing back Niyaki all the way back to their spawn, as triple ink strikes are going to be trying to stall it out. narrowly avoiding that torpedo as 2 down. Here comes the Wave Breaker, the Trizuka. Everything is coming full force from the set of Crab. They want this one win. They want this win so bad, and they are going to take it as they are just pushing up to this 3rd checkpoint. Trying to get on the tower here, but that's 2 down. Rage Blaster staying alive to be able to get 1.
Oh,
they're going to be able to get the try, but they're going to be wiped out.
Good hold by Pearlescence, but the Range Blaster finding at least 2. It's only gonna just stall Pearlescence's attempted retake of mid there as well. I just really like this Range Blaster play that we're seeing right now. I know we're highlighting so much on that Range Blaster, but again, a good Range Blaster play could mean so much for your team, and Crab is just trying to take full advantage of it. OH right now with that Ultra Stand, trying to see if they can find even more. Triple Strikes coming out here shortly as the stand finds 1. OH finds at least one of the members there, so it's 2 down right out of the gate, and Cytogas is being punished out just by a tad, and OH might be getting punished slightly here. Nope, still, well, now finally going down. It looks like Pearlescence are just dropping 1 by 1 here, and this push is just gonna get stalled out.
Yeah, push is going to get a little bit stalled out here as they're pushing the members of Pearlescence back. They have the advantage, but they have to watch out for this triple Ink Strike as it's just going in for them here. Going to be transitioning over to the bridge as we see Zophai pushing up, going on the tower, trying to stay there. Sees Void Bits, going to be able to get 1 slosh, going to be able to trade with them at the very least. As we see Star Shower with the shot, going to have to keep that Trizuka, going to be using it, just trying to stay alive. We see Wiper trying to get in. So many of them are just trying to get in and just hold this area. 2 minutes left on the clock. Pearlescence has to find something.
Yeah, Pearlescence just needs to find some of these openings here. Special usage is going to be incredibly key right now. Pearlescence did have the tactical available there. At least they find the Wiper, so it is tactical is actually planted on the tower. So with everybody hauling around the tower, they're trying to get as much as they can. What on earth? I think the Rage Blaster just took out 2. Cytogas with a nice hold onto that offense there. Defense actually slightly holds there. All things considered, Pearlescence is just trying to crowd around the side. They're trying to find some of these openings. What a pick by Cytogas as well. But Cytogas is gonna finally go down. The Wave Breaker's planted. Yaki finds another. Maybe we could be something good here from Pearlescence.
Yeah, as we see the Wiper coming in. Gonna see if they can get any picks with these charge slashes, but that's not gonna be able to do it. One of them down there trying to shred the 2nd checkpoint, but so many of them are going down. They cannot defeat the Range Blaster powerhouse they have on Crab right now. Which makes sense. It's tower control. You do not want to go up against a blaster in tower control.
Absolutely not. It is the one thing you don't want to meet when you're trying to make that push happen. So I'd like to see if Pearlescence can find an opening against the Range Blaster, then try to kickstart a push in their direction. Both teams' Wipers have that Ultra Stamp available. OH pops theirs as well, as we do see 2 members have dropped. Bulbasaur went going down to OH. OH picks up with a double, and that's a wipeout. Pearlescence wipes them out. This should be a sustained push, but let's see if Pearlescence can swing this back the other direction, NM.
We'll see. This is their last chance, their last hurrah. Trizuka coming out, gonna be protected by the pole. They're pushing it up there, but they're gonna go down. 2 left alive. It's just a try, and the Wiper, they're going for it. Try gonna go down. It's just a Wiper left alive. They're in the corner. They're just living for the rest of their life. They have a jump in the corner. They're gonna go down. Jump's gonna go down, and here we see Crab gonna be able to just defend their lead and gonna be able to at least get the win. They're not gonna go down for Yo.
They're not gonna go down 3-0. Oh my goodness, that got a little dicey there. And you saw Pearlescence finding 2 members. OH found 2. They just kept finding members left and right, and then they got the wipeout. You might have gotten the sense that maybe Pearlescence could either swing this back the other direction, but Crab keeping their cool. They realized what their win condition was with a lot of points they had, and they took out 2 members around the tower, and that push gets completely stalled. So as you mentioned, Crab will not get shut out in this set.
Yeah, no, Crab is not getting shut out in this set, and with that, Pearlescence is going to be taking that win either way. 2-1 though, but we'll see if there's going to be some divisive stuff deciding brackets later on. This might be, a little bit of a mess up for them. But either way, that's actually going to be the end for us commentating. A bit of a shorter block, but we got to watch a fire hazard.
Oh yeah, this first block for both of us, a lot of fun to cast. Even if it was a little short, we got to see some amazing matches across the board from really the 2 rounds that we saw. So this may be a sign of for many good matches to come here throughout day 1.
Yep, but before we go, of course, where can people find you, Keon?
You can find me, Kiln2570. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Twitch. I stream Splatoon sometimes. I also do other things as well sometimes. You can also follow my Twitter for just nonsensical Twitter posting shenanigans. Where can people find you, NM?
People can find me on Twitter and Twitch at Ninstar123, where I'm just rambling about what I'm doing, what my team's doing, talking about other stuff. I'm probably going to be talking about the S-Blast 92 a lot in these next couple of days, because as people know, I really love playing the Nintendo weapons. That's why I originally picked up NZ and ran with the support role, finding Nintendo weapon. They're giving me something, I'm going to run with it. They're finally feeding me, I'm going to run with it. The Super Scope is finally here, and I'm going to be a blaster player. I am going to rep blasters. I'm going to go with it. You'll see me in the next +3 scrim with a rapid deco on tower control. Trust.
I want to see you just completely go ham on those blast weapons, those supers, the S blast especially, the rapid blaster deco. I really want to see you just go off on those weapons. It's gonna be so much fun, possible for you to watch, for a lot of us to watch there as well. So, I mean, it's been so much fun casting with the NM.
Fun casting with you too, but that's going to be the end for us here. But make sure you guys don't go anywhere, as we do have Siren and Devi going to be streaming the next free rounds here. So make sure you stay around for them. Peace.
Adios all.
Welcome back, everybody, to Low Ink number something something. It is me. Oh, it's just, no, they're not numbered. It's just May 2023. Okay, hi. I'm sorry. This is my first Low Ink cast. We are returning with rounds, I believe, 4 to 6 of Swiss, and I am here with Debbie.
Hello. Sorry to throw you under the bus, Siren.
You did not at all. I'm really excited to be here. It's actually my first Low Ink cast. I've never really dipped my toes much into Low Ink. I've watched a little bit, so, you know, here and there some time ago, but the way that this tournament kind of goes, it's like, if you know who was there like 2 years ago, there's very, very high chances that they're not going to be here as well today. So not a lot of the same faces, unfortunately, but that's kind of how it should be, I think.
Well, you're talking about not the same faces, but yet I'm over here like, okay, look at these two names. One, Do Not the Cat, and Day Old Pandas, okay? The names here. Now, Do Not the Cat, I believe, is a pickup, Fire Corgi and Reno Blue. All these names are recognizable to me. I'm not too much familiar with Sage, but we're going to be familiarized with Sage. Day Old Pandas. Now, this is the one that struck, like, digging back to memories, because now I can't remember what the rest of the Panda team was, but this is a combination of Day Old Sushi and Panda something. I can't remember if it was Panda Nights or what it was.
That sounds right.
Yeah, I feel like it was Panda Night. Someone can correct me wrong if I'm wrong. I feel like I'm wrong. But anyway, it's a combo of two teams in the past that I remember being semi-rivals with a long time ago. So now they're here again. And this should be a good match. This is just going by, oh my god, so many familiar things. Here we go.
I mean, I'm ready for it. Rainmaker on Hagglefish, this is a personal favorite of mine. Looking forward to seeing what they're running. D, of course, picking that ballpoint Splatling, which we have been seeing so common, as well as Blue on the other side. So kind of similar comps, but we're seeing some things you don't always see, which is refreshing for me, like that Dynamo Roller on the side of Day Old Pandas as well. So we'll be looking to see which team goes for the pop at the beginning, and a couple members of Day Old Pandas actually opting to move off to the left side and not immediately go for that pop. But seeming to be rewarding for them. They're getting that early pick onto the Splatoon Wiper, and it's just going to be a bloodbath on the side of Day Old Panda's map here.
It's definitely something that happens on this map, especially. There is a lot of neutral play here because it's wide open space. Just the walls trying to give you the most cover for the time being. And we're just waiting to see who can get the first couple picks here. And looks like we see G grabbing the Rainmaker. It was 1-for-1, but of course still getting stuck in middle there, just getting picked off. Getting stuck in the back. Really no team has a solid advantage, but we see the Dynamo going down. So that takes away a big threat, putting paint down. That 2 down. However, the Stamp does get picked up on the side. And again, still just this battle in mid going down. We're going to see they want to try to take down this crab, but they have one of their own. So as one's going to end, the next one's coming out on the other side. And already just a minute, basically, a minute, a couple minds. Anyway, just coming out back and forth. We have the crab after crab, inkjet after inkjet. It's trades back and forth. And for a Rainmaker game, this is the longest neutral in middle I've seen in a while, and now we're finally trying to get going here, but they're stuck. They can't even get past the middle platform.
Yes, a very uncommon situation you rarely see on this map mode in particular, where that Rainmaker sits literally at 99 for that first minute, and we still haven't broken through any checkpoint on either side. Day Old Pandas just barely almost reaching that, but not quite able to get that in time. But with 3 down on the side of Do Not the Cat, that is going to be the checkpoint for them. And D is somehow able to make it out briefly with their life. So honestly, a good job at Day Old Pandas for staying alive here while that Rainmaker is in such an advantageous position for them.
Absolutely, we see Sage here just painting around, being careful, making sure that they don't get picked over the ledge. Still applying paint. That jump was made. Oh my goodness, that was definitely quite the risky maneuver there by Day Old Pandas, but they managed to get the jump over to get that score down to 30, and just taking the time predicting the Splash's movements. Really nice move there.
Yeah, and sometimes that is just what you have to do to get that advantage early on, and I think it was absolutely worth it for them in the end to make that jump. That pop is going to go back into the favor of Do Not the Cat with that reset there. That's going to be 2 members down on the side of Day Old Pandas. That Splash-O-Matic is going to be forced to pop that crab on the top of this tent here just to stop that Rainmaker and buy some more time for their team to stay alive here, and that is going to reward them very well. They're taking out that Rainmaker and staying alive here onto this right side, taking this fight against Fire Corgi on the Wiper, and gonna have to back out, but that hammer does not have any problems finding them hiding in that corner there.
Fire Corgi there thinking like, okay, we got that, we got the lead there, but just not being patient enough to realize, hey, someone is jumping right in front of there, gets collapsed on by the teammates, and Day Old Pandas are deciding to take it over to the left-hand side. Taking it over to the left-hand side at this point is a good thing, because even if they get trapped down in this corner, it's harder to get the Rainmaker, for the other team to push the Rainmaker from their right-hand side. So you can see how much the team is working together here. They were picking off left and right, and they managed to even get more points off this left-hand side. So bravo to Day Old Pandas for adjusting to that and clearing the path for the Rainmaker to get a few more points there, keeping up the aggression. They're doing a good job at putting it into a spot where Do Not the Cat can't really move with the Rainmaker at the moment until they can try to reset it.
Yes, Amy here doing a good job applying some pressure here onto this left side here, just trying to keep Do Not the Cat into their base as much as possible. In this last minute of the game, that 22 push is what they are going to be relying on to get this win in game 1 of this set. So obviously at this point you're just going to be wanting to hold as much ground as possible and, you know, keep them away from your base, and that's really the name of the game with Rainmaker. As Amy has popped that cooler here, is going to be staying alive for as long as they can, but thankfully going down while I still have that cooler buff on is going to allow them to get back into this as quick as possible. Do Not the Cat is going to have to start capitalizing on these picks that they're getting very quickly if they want to start contesting this lead. They still have that checkpoint to go through, and you don't want to be doing that in overtime.
Yeah, with 10 seconds left to go here, and there's 2 members down on Day Old Pandas. This is a time for the members of Do Not the Cat to move up and clear the path for the Rainmaker when they had the advantage there. However, this advantage ain't gonna last long, as we can see most of the members still back in mid, just being careful of the other 2, and it looks like this Rainmaker is gonna go down before they hit checkpoint, because Day Old Pandas was right back in front in a solid defense position, ready to block that checkpoint.
Yeah, and just when they thought they were safe, of course, that 52 gal can just get a pick so quickly. They were not really anticipating that. So good job from the members of Day Old Pandas getting that first game there and just being ready for any situation coming out of Do Not the Cat.
I mean, every time we just say Do Not the Cat and it's in all caps, it's just like I want to remember to put emphasis on it every time when I say it. It's like, Do Not the Cat.
I don't know if I know this meme well enough to like.
I don't either,
yeah.
but it's just the full caps of the name that gets me, you know? We were talking earlier about like how people, like friends of mine, know that I don't get a lot of references. So they call me like the grandma of the internet. I don't understand the meme, but it's the caps. It's the caps lock that gets me.
I also quite like the moving icon that they have with the cat. That one's pretty good.
But moving on, we are going to go to an old classic. We got Clam Blitz at Inkblot. Now, this is definitely going to be an interesting one, and if we see that Dynamo return, the Dynamo can take a lot of space here over ledges, whether it's controlling the plot, controlling the stack, getting on the push. There's a couple places where they can go, but it's definitely harder to find that spot where they want to be on a push that I think Do Not the Cat can actually prevent. And for Do Not the Cat's comp, all they gotta do is just make sure that they have a member ahead, or make sure that they have people ahead of the objective. They're taking control of the advantages, and then they can move on forward here. So they have the comp, like the subs, and just the extra range to poke out some of these members of Day Old Pandas to be able to push in together. They just have to make sure that they take at least one other person with them when they're going to try to succeed in one of these pushes. And with how tight Inkblot can be, they, like I said, they definitely want to have more than one, especially with how controlling a Dynamo can be.
Yes, for sure. You have to be very careful of the space here, but we are not going to be actually seeing that Dynamo coming out. We just want, but I know you're excited for this one. You're seeing them switch into your favorite. Well, at least it was.
It's my favorite, but I have circumstances.
It's a complicated relationship.
Here. Anyway,
yes.
This 2 Splatlings on one side. They're going for full stack control here versus a heavy. The heavy's going to be brought here with the Wavebreaker, and Wavebreaker's really strong on Inkblot, and already the Old Pandas were down a couple there, and we can see that there's fighting already going down on one side. Old Pandas is doing a really good job at going like immediately forward, but now they have to make sure that the rest can still follow up behind, and it's just kind of again been back and forth on the side here, and really nice cancel here by Reno on that Tri-Slosher, just being directly in the way of the Inkjet, didn't see it, and is just going to get a lot of control here. Very good follow-up weapon here for the front lines to be able to help control these stacks in return.
Yes, I mean, and one thing I guess to note about having these double Splatling comps like we see on the side of, I believe this is Old Pandas, am I correct? I believe so. No,
yes,
this is...
Old Pandas.
Yes. Is, you know, once they get a good lead, they are going to be able to hold on to that for like the entire game. Their defense is going to be so strong for the rest of this. You know, we are, despite what I'm saying, we are seeing a push getting into their base here now, all the way down to 68. But that is really, that is almost nothing on Inkblot. So as long as they're able to sort of get their foot in the door as far as getting points onto the board here, I think it's going to be a lot easier for them as things continue on, because they can really just sort of camp a lead for as long as possible when you have a comp like that.
Yeah, and Do Not the Cat here doing what I was hoping that they would do. Use their resources here to take out those members that can do a lot of area control. And in this case, it's going to be those 2 Splatlings, and they're doing a good job closing those out. And they're even picking off the front lines on the side as well in return. So they're finding those way in, especially with having like the extra mobility. They can paint a little more because their comp does allow them to have more paint. So you can see that they are getting the pick on 1. It's not just a trade, but a solid pick. So they're getting themselves an advantage, and they're able to help clear a side. What we see right now, it's still relatively half and half here, as it looks like Fire Corgi again tries to go in. But of course, it was completely in Old Panda's turf, and it was not safe to go down in that area yet. And we can see Old Pandas coming in with the specials. They have a bunch of resources that's going out. There's 3 specials launched right there. They have enough to make a power clam, but they would only have one other clam beside it. Looks like that they have 2 others, and they could possibly get another one, but no, it's shut down there. They didn't have enough clam economy to be able to break the basket and score more afterwards, so they had all the resources for a push, used them basically all at the same time. There was maybe like a second split, and yes, they had control of it, but of course it looks like someone had dropped on the back corner there. I didn't see who got it, but managed to pick off the rest of Old Pandas and stop that push.
Yeah, so all the resources in their hands there in that moment, just aside from actually having the clams that they need to back it up with. So a lot of energy was sort of expelled in that moment, but not quite having the follow-up to sort of contest this small lead, might I add, from Do Not the Cat. So they are going to be taking another attempt in here. D playing this ballpoint in that short range like you can do. Up in their base, that is going to be a narrow lead, getting it down to 61, but that's going to be a near full wipe. Amy jumping in as the Hydra, just dropping an auto bomb and immediately going down. That is not going to be able to do too much here, and of course that is going to allow the members of Do Not the Cat to sort of retake mid here. They have a power clam at the ready, and now they do have an additional pity clam, as you would say, under their basket in their hands as well. And with 2 down on their side, that's not going to be looking too good for them. Blue dropping that power clam, dropping the wave breaker as well, and just making a mad dash for that basket, but is going to be getting picked off by Amy on that Hydra Splatling, and is just prepared to take anything coming out of them. So those sneak kind of pushes I don't think are going to quite be working on Day Old Sushi, or sorry, Day Old Pandas.
There were... Yep, I almost got confused earlier too and had to catch myself, but there is 20 seconds left in this game. Sage has that power clam ready, and then there is a couple clams on the side as well. We see the Hydra putting down the Booyah Bomb in front. The Tacticooler has put out. You can see that they're passing that clam, but of course with the clam pass, it reveals that other member, so the Hydra is able to track that a lot easier, and we can see these members just in the way. The Crab able to stop the Hydra getting picked. It's just back and forth here. There's only one left alive here on Old Pandas. We got a jump actually going back, but Fire Corgis in the base. They jump back. They're going to jump back in. They missed. They missed the throw. What? They missed the throw.
Blue's gonna try. They're gonna jump it again, but it's just a 1-by-1 jumping in, and they were ready to take that. That is gonna be a narrow point lead for Old Pandas there. And like I said before, once they got that one good push, they can just defend for the rest of it. And while it wasn't very good, they were still able to defend. So that is something else.
Oh, I feel like there was a slight miscommunication there between Fire Corgi and the one who had the clam there. Because the one who had the clam was just behind Fire Corgi. And then you could see Fire Corgi moving in, found that way in. And the clam was in the process of jumping back as Fire Corgi went in. So there was it looked like a slight miscommunication instead of, okay, stay with me. And the other one felt unsafe, so they had to jump back, and that little time discrepancy, so they went and relied off the jump. And as a person who consistently clam jumped a lot from S2 to now, it's a lot better to swim up when you can, when you know you have that teammate in front of you. And I feel like there was just that slight miscommunication there that went back to rely on the jump to make sure that they were safe, just to double check.
Yeah,
but it was as the jump went there. I think both of them had the way in. They both could have went in with the mains. It was right there, but unfortunately when the jump came in, the angle was kind of weird. I saw it off to the side, and I know it's a weird angle, so the clam was unfortunately missed.
And that's just sort of how it is sometimes. You know, once you hit that super jump button, you can't cancel out of that. So if you're jumping back to spawn, you gotta do the whole jump back, and then in that whole time Fire Corgi's trying to stall, they have to jump right on back to Fire Corgi, and you know, by that point it's getting into a suboptimal timing, like you said before. So we are going to be looking at splat zones on a museum. I am curious to see if we're going to be looking at the Dynamo roller coming back for this one, because I think it's kind of an interesting map to try that, so long as your opponent doesn't have anything that can snipe you from across the map, like an E-leader.
We've seen both of them playing Splatling, so I can't see coming through. But Dynamo could be possible, but with the extra range, I'm not sure. But we're gonna find out here what they're gonna do. Hami brought out 3 different weapons here that we wouldn't expect. So we had the Dynamo for the first one, Hydra for the second. Now we're seeing them pull out a brush.
Truly the flex of all ages.
Absolutely. With a bunch of different things there. D, of course, sticking to the ballpoint, and the other team, Do Not the Cat, sticking to kind of what they've been working with majority of the time, but it was already 3 down on the side of Do Not the Cat right off the get-go. I didn't see how it fully happened, but you could see that Old Pandas just went up and took control of under that ledge, and I think they got caught out by a couple subs and some fall-off shots from underneath.
Yeah, Old Pandas sort of running in here a little bit. They do have to be very mindful of how they get back into this. Points are ticking down very, very quickly for them. So they do have to be a little bit more mindful. They haven't really let up any sort of control here, but at the same time, they haven't really moved up very far at all. They've just been sort of building up the specials, looking for the sort of side entry points for Do Not the Cat to come in from. And they have just not let up any control here. That hammer is going to be the saving grace for them, but that zone still hasn't shifted. It's only going into neutral just now. It's only been 1 minute. We're only seeing a knockout. Wait, it's going to what? How did that even...
Stamp doesn't paint as well as it looks like it does. It needs somebody to follow up, and it looks like one was going back and forth off the zone, and it just wasn't stuck there. The objective wasn't called out as a focus. You could see that there was more of the attention on that back right-hand side of the spectator view. I was taking a peek at it, and because also that the hammer was going around in the middle, the other thing that happens there is that the ranged weapons from Old Pandas are going to be shooting onto the zone to get that hammer. That takes away the hammer paint, and if the second person on Do Not the Cat is not contributing to help paint that, and we don't get a third in time, the zone's not gonna cap, and that's exactly what we saw here. And the Stamp tried so hard. There was a few other people there, but of course we didn't have the focus fully on the zone to cap it, and then one going down on the zone to go back into the other color as well made it the progress just completely denied, and they did not have the paint to get that cap towards the end. So of course it's just a complete 100-0 there in that last game.
Yeah, I mean, what actual insanity that was to go all the way from 100-0. You could see in that replay we did have on stream a minute ago that they sort of focused, instead of painting the zone in that last few moments, there was one of the members of Old Pandas sort of running away and getting away from the situation. But in sort of focusing that, they kind of missed the zone being covered again once, just being repainted by other members of Old Pandas. So I think just going for that quick last-second decision to try and get the pick over the zone, I think ultimately cost them. Just Old Pandas' paint pressure was just out of this world in those last few moments. They had that adrenaline running, that Game 3 adrenaline going for them.
Mm-hmm. The other was taking the fights on the zone, because as the hammer was going around, we could see that there was a second and a third. Like, the machine ended up popping onto the zone there, and the Splatling was helping to paint from the side. The machine was on the zone and then sloshing at the one on the back right corner, just ahead of them. But they ended up losing the fight and went down in the zone. Something you want to make sure of if it's definitely a tight situation, to stay off the zone, paint inside, or take the fight outside of the zone. So then if you do get splatted, your splat isn't going to contribute to zone paint for the other team. It's a big thing to always be aware of, especially on splat zones, is kind of where you're taking your fight. Sometimes you have no choice but to take it onto the zone. And there, of course, it's really tough because there's a wall there, so you're not going to get the angle. So in that point, it just kind of results to, yeah, we can't just take the fight. Let's focus on the objective first. And then we can even, like, stall them out with fizzies from that corner. You can throw it over the wall there. And just help with the zone control. And then we can focus on the fight afterwards, since getting that cap was key in that moment there, especially with the Wiper trying to do what they can to back up people on the zone, trying to paint with the Stamp, but of course it's getting painted over at the same time by basically all of the members of Old Pandas. So it was definitely a tough situation there in that corner.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And it is sometimes, it is the hardest decision to make when you're thinking, okay, well, I might go down if I focus the zone instead of getting this person out of the way first. But even if you do go down, if you still are able to get that cap, you are still buying yourselves time to potentially win a different fight instead. So it is a very hard risk to weigh in that moment, and I cannot blame Do Not the Cat for not making that split-second decision correctly, because it really is 50-50 sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's been, wow, that went by quickly. With the round, it's like there's just so much that kind of happened there, and everything. It's just from the longest kind of neutral state that I've seen in a Rainmaker game in a while, to a really fast zones game as well, just being able to lock out on the sides there. So like Old Pandas working with the Dynamo there, of course the Dynamo that we don't see very often, but of course has its potential when a team like works with it long enough to know how much it can control, right? Because the Dynamo has that big flick that can control the area, can continue to just take space for everyone else. It had that Tacticooler for Rainmaker as well, going out. And then of course we saw the second game where basically the whole backline Splatling family comes to haunt me. And it's not that I hate seeing it, I love seeing it, and that's the thing. It's just, of course, with the change that I have to make, I have to like restrict myself from actually playing it at the moment. So it's like, I love to see it, but I am like in pain inside because I can't do it myself right now. So but they definitely work together well. Like, there was a play that I've actually want to talk about that D did in game 2 that we cut at the last second. that I never really got to talk about. D played the mid line as the ballpoint there and went in on the left-hand side, was inkjetting over the top, and basically got a solid push-off again for Old Pandas. And SpecCam caught the tail end of that, but it was such a solid move by D that everybody followed up on. It was a really good play there, and it definitely shuffled Do Not the Cat. But it's what Old Pandas needed to get a push off, because it looked like that Do Not the Cat was actually like was keeping them back in a fence, just kind of holding them back with the double splatling there. They were being restricted from areas, but D found a way through and used both basically the entire resources of the ballpoint kit, and was able to go aggro in that moment, gave them a shot, had the inkjet. And we saw everybody else move in after that, and they got that push off. And it wasn't even like, it wasn't the greatest lead, but it did what they needed to do to be able to help secure that. And even right at the end there, like I said, just a slight miscommunication on how to push the Clam in on overtime. And Do Not the Cat could have most likely stolen that game from Old Pandas.
Yeah, and I guess that's really the reason why people have been gravitating towards ballpoint so much recently. It really gets to do it all. It can really scrap with the people in the short range and get into people's faces with that inkjet and the short range option as well. But when it comes down to it as well, they do have the option to sort of stay back and just use its long range to its advantage there, and that's really the unique utility and the reason why ballpoint has such an interesting sort of skill ceiling to it, and why a lot of people have been enjoying it so much recently. We've been seeing it a lot more, which I will gladly welcome, so long as it doesn't get to the point where there was this one time in Splatoon 2 where it was like really, really overtuned, and people were complaining about it. But I think almost every weapon had an era like that in Splatoon 2. Almost. Almost.
Almost indeed. Well, now as we wait for the rest of round 4's matches to finish up, we are going to go to a quick break here, guys. Don't go anywhere. We will be back with round 5 of Low Ink. everybody, and we are back, about to bring you round 5 of Low Ink May 2023. My name is Devi, and I'm joined with Siren, and we're about to commentate a couple teams here. We've got the Calamari crew and Ludicrous Speed.
Yeah!
Try again. Okay, never mind. It sounds like sarcastic enthusiasm. And
No, fully genuine enthusiasm. I just didn't know what to say. You kind of said everything for it.
For now with these two teams here, I was just recently educated on Ludicrous Speed, the last Squid School stream that happened. We ran into them in one of the open sessions that we did, and Jem was educating me on the entirety of references. And for those who weren't here earlier, I have mentioned that I am called the grandma of the internet because I don't know any references. So I have been slightly educated on Ludicrous Speed, and have met some of their teammates I've watched from Mochi play in there, so I was getting familiarized with them. And Calamari crew, it looks like that there's definitely a good number of fans of Calamari crew, although unfortunately I'm not as familiar with them, but I'm excited to see their play here.
I can definitely say the same for myself, both in excited to see their play, and I also do not understand the reference with Ludicrous Speed whatsoever. But I do think we are starting game 1 from the sounds of it. So we are going to be going into tower control on Undertow Spillway. This is a thing. This is it sure is a map, and we're seeing a squeezer and the dually squel. What?
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say custom hasn't existed yet.
With how this map is, with its narrow center also being like just an entire choke point of a box, you can see the range picks here from the squeezer and the dually sculptures here that can definitely work together, control the middle alongside with the snipe mode of the ballpoint. And you can see that the ballpoint's already getting pokes on the squeezer, and of course with the help of a teammate is able to pick off that squeezer.
Yes, and it is quite something else when the shortest range weapon on your composition is a sloshing machine of all things. So they're definitely going to have some pretty strong defense, I would say, at this map, because they do not have to get engaged with the tower at any sort of close range whatsoever here. They can sort of sit back for as long as they want, but it's going to be that same sort of thing once again, where they're going to need to get that lead in the first place and then just sit on it for the rest of the game. It is probably their best bet.
Right now, we see Ludicrous Speed able to get a bit of an advantage there, and we got the ballpoint holding on to the tower here with a teammate nearby. Ballpoint, of course, using that snipe mode, getting a little bit of extra ink there, was able to get a pick with that bomb going on tower. This is such a convenient place for the checkpoint to be, for the tower to, or like just the tower to stop in general, for the ballpoint to just kind of walk back and forth, able to stay alive to get that inkjet, add some extra pressure, and you can see the rest of the members of Ludicrous Speed going into the corner here and actually trying to take control of the side. But in return here, we can see just trying to get through the ink here, the squeezer here just jumping through the blue ink, and 3 of the members of Ludicrous Speed did go down there, so we could see the squeezer trying to immediately go up, take space, got a pick, helped with the trade with another. We see another teammate got that, and they are just trying to do the same thing in return here.
Yes, Box is going to be getting taken down here by TK onto the side of Calamari crew, and they are starting to get some points onto the board here. Getting to this first checkpoint is going to allow them to get that lead there. Cow with the inkjet is going to be able to take that out, and it's just going to be that sloshing machine left, but is also going to be picked off by the other members of Ludicrous Speed, and this is going to be a very strong back and forth, just a mad dash for the second checkpoint on both teams, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. Here we do see the Booyah Bomb ready on the side of Ludicrous Speed, and that'll be really good here to help make sure that they can get over in the corner here. It looks like that they did use it off a little bit, and I think it was just a little bit of confusion at where the rest of the members were to Booyah Bomb there, as they were all just further around the other corner. So this Inkjet here, just basically the one only able to go around to this right-hand side and defend the tower, able to do a solid, just basically single-handed defense and just stop that tower from pushing even further.
Yes, and G-Hype doing a very good job at trying to sort of keep the members of Calamari crew back in their face as much as possible. Is going to be holding on to this position and sort of waiting for them to take the first move optimally for them. Getting that Booyah Bomb ready, trying to start making space, is done waiting for Calamari crew to make that first move and decides, hey, let's do it ourselves. We're ready. We have the specials. We can move up. We can take these fights. Getting that trade onto the squeezer might be helpful for them here, but they're still going to have to get to that checkpoint and box. The box is in the perfect position here to be stopping that tower and getting that Booyah Bomb of their own to sort of slow things down a little bit more.
This machine is in a good, solid spot here, being underneath the ledge, just knowing that members of Ludicrous Speed were on that top right after getting just that slight little tap. We can see the machine is just basically a huge threat here, but the Tri-Slosher going in to try to stop it, going in alone, but the machine is able to come out as the victor here and is still trying to survive here, but taken down by the splash, I believe, with the burst bomb and the follow-up. So now this push going in the favor of the Calamari crew, and the Inkjet appeared. We see the checkpoint is broken. Lead now goes in the favor of the Calamari crew, and they still have a pretty solid lead going here. We got the C.R.A.B on defense, but the C.R.A.B is shooting towards the members in behind. They were trying to stop that Booyah Bomb before it was too late. But still able to go off, clear more space, and we see that this box is taking control of the one side. It looks like tower has been defended, but there is still paint on the side of Ludicrous Speed, and we see that they're trying to use specials to counteract what is being thrown at them, but of course the squeezer, like Ink-Zuka-ing at the same time the Booyah Bomb drops, and the Zuka goes through the Booyah Bomb, so able to be a little more effective there to hold off any kind of push through the Booyah Bomb.
Yeah, I only just now realized that we have a box on both teams.
Yep.
So Ludicrous Speed is in quite the pickle here, I would say. 10 seconds left in this game here, which means they're going to have to rely on overtime to be getting any sort of lead. They still have to burn through this first checkpoint here, and another quarter of the next one. It's only going to be 2 members left. Hype is going to have to stay on this tower for a little bit longer. It's going very well. There's 2 jumps coming into the tower there. That is going to allow Chow to get back on as well. That ballpoint goes down. It's just going to be that Splash-O-Matic, and that Inkjet is going to dive down and take the tower, ending that game there.
Oh man, that dance there. I saw the jumps coming in. I'm like, is that going to be enough time? Because there was definitely another member up on top, and I'm like, are they going to jump down on the tower before like the jumps even land? I was like, that was definitely a risky maneuver there, but I could see them trying to get off before the jumps landed there and the timing, and I'm like, oh my goodness. That's why I was kind of had like a little bit of a panic there when they just walked back off the tower for a second, and I'm like, wait, they're not landed yet. Hold on.
Sometimes you just have to have that trust fall with your teammates where you're like, okay, I know you're going to be coming in here. I know you're not going to jump off the tower the second you get in here. But it is very risky when you're in overtime like that. You know, you never know where somebody could be sneaking around and just ready to hop on that tower. And that could have maybe ended things right there if they weren't more careful. But thankfully, they had their teammates to rely on, and they got in fast enough.
Mm-hmm. And something neat about that last game as well, sorry to cut you off, but something neat about that last game was how both teams controlled that first checkpoint corner. You could see that both had a similar idea. With the Calamari crew, you could see it how much more ink that they were putting down up above the grates and trying to push back, and they also had like a Booyah of their own to be able to, I think, if I remember correctly. I think they had a Booyah of their own. I can't remember now all of a sudden. But anyway, there was a lot of ink going up over top, and they were able to control that section a lot better. They had a bit of a stagger there on the specials, so that the Inkjet just kind of went across, took the people out on grates on the side of Ludicrous Speed, and got that side, and got that checkpoint pushed through. Meanwhile, for Ludicrous Speed, you could see that they had the checkpoint there, and they were taking control of the other side already, like making sure that ahead of the path was clear, but they didn't keep around the side of the checkpoint as clear as it could have been, because there was still always that one up above the grates that stalled the tower checkpoint, and even if it was just one person, had enough to just stall that checkpoint. So we'll see if for the for this game as well, as if they can make sure that they can keep the objective spot clear. So make sure that they're making sure the checkpoint can be fully dunked before they're going ahead of the game.
Yes, and we are seeing a bit of a different change onto the side of Calamari crew here. We are seeing that Splatana Wiper coming out as well as the Nautilus. So definitely a more aggressive approach, I would say, to this one, but I think it's totally warranted on this particular map mode. You know, once you get past that first checkpoint, you really have to force your aggression really hard in order to get past that even further. So they're really going all in. They're putting all their chips on this, as to say, to try and focus that as much as possible, but not quite winning that gamble in the first minute of the game there. They are going to be going 3 down there, and that is going to be Ludicrous Speed being the first team to pick up this Rainmaker here and try and move it as forward as quick as possible.
That Wiper there just sneaking in right through the Matter of Chaos, staying alive, getting a pick, and then helping get a pick on a second member as well. We see Chow just moving back with the ballpoint here, which is a smart move. They don't want to get caught out by anything, as the Nautilus is throwing point sensor, and then the rest of the teammates are throwing extra subs just to try to find them, keeping paint. You can see how quickly of control Calamari crew has of mid by tossing the rain, the point sensors. They're just basically clearing it out so that they can get their 2 Splatlings in a spot where they don't have an obstacle in the way. They just have a clear line of fire.
Yes, and once again, they have that Rainmaker in their hands, trying to get it past this crab tank here, is able to take it out with that combination of the Inkjet and that Rainmaker here. They're trying to get some points onto the board. They're trying to get over to that checkpoint. Are they going to be even... No! They're not able to get that lead in time. That is going to be G-Hype getting there and bailing them out at the right second. And now just a whole lot of bomb pressure coming out from the members of Ludicrous Speed onto this right side here, just trying to prevent Calamari crew from making it in even farther without having to dedicate their physical selves to that. But that is going to get canceled immediately, and they're going to be picking up that Rainmaker, getting the lead and the checkpoint to go with it. And with 2 down still, they still have all this momentum going for them. Are they going to be able to keep this up?
Something that this happened the entire time here is that TK, this ballpoint here, went up on the left-hand side even before the checkpoint was broken and was picking off members of Ludicrous Speed. I think Ludicrous Speed was kind of going in one at a time trying to attack the ballpoint, but of course with Snipe Mode appearing on the ballpoint, got stuck and then follow up with the other members on the right-hand side. So the ballpoint adding a bunch of pinch pressure from that left-hand side, gaining control of that left-hand side, allowed Calamari crew to get that checkpoint and get those little bit of extra points there. So bravo to the ballpoint for taking control of that top left and stalling out Ludicrous Speed enough for Calamari crew to get the checkpoint here. And we can see that it's not done yet. Even though Rainmaker got reset to mid, Ludicrous Speed is down 3 now, and the rest of Calamari crew can just move forward here, just being careful of the subs that are being tossed at them from the top right here, and the Inkjets coming out for protection to help stall, and just these extra points. Look at this Rainmaker go!
Yes, and that ballpoint has had this amazing positioning this entire time, knowing when to back out. And like you said before, pushing onto that left side there is going to divide the attention of the defending team, which in this case, of course, is Ludicrous Speed. They are going to be popping this cooler and this crab right now. They're trying to get some more space in mid here, but popping all their specials for that and not quite getting any picks off of it is not going to be too rewarding for them at this point in time. They're going to have to go do it with their bare hands. Mochi getting that trade with Volter on that right side there, but they can't be going for trades right now. They're going to have to get these picks straight out. Fox the Box having something to say about it, though, coming in there, getting that pick on Mochi, making it real hard for them to get any sort of space here in mid. They just used up their specials. They have to use Booyah Bomb one more time to try and get a little bit of space here. And like I said, they're just not getting it. Fox the Box being the absolute MVP, getting the double, popping the hammer, just barely missing the inkjet. They're running into their faces.
Oh my goodness, the mechanicals from Fox the Box there, absolutely insane. You can see the amount of kiting that the Viper was doing. And now again, TK here with the Rainmaker doing the same thing, using the extra range. There's 30 seconds left, and Ludicrous Speed here, they have a Tacticooler online that can help them get back through. Never mind, it's not online anymore. But they have 3 members here, they have extra range, 2 members. I'm gonna stop talking because it's just jinxing them. Anyway, all they have to do is stall this Rainmaker in the corner.
Yes, they really just have to stop here, and I think it's going to be smart if they back up a little bit. They spotted that Inkjet. think, oh, it is the ballpoints inked out, but that has also gone down. The other members of Calamari crew just scrapping for TK while they hold that Rainmaker for those last 10 seconds of the game, sealing the deal and preventing Ludicrous Speed from doing anything about it.
Wowza.
Wowza, indeed. I mean, it felt like Ludicrous Speed didn't even have an opportunity to breathe that game. Just Calamari crew was consistently in their faces, holding up mid even when they weren't in their base. I can't think of one moment aside from the very beginning there where Ludicrous Speed was even able to really move the Rainmaker away from their base.
For moving the Rainmaker, yeah, it wasn't given a solid opportunity for a bit because the space was given for the Splatlings to take control. I mentioned that in the start, how what Calamari crew was doing is that they were using the specials, searching, and using their subs to push members of Ludicrous Speed back, scare them a little, right? And so that they move back a bit, so that way the Splatlings can basically have a free line of fire by taking control of mid. The Nautilus can go around the sides. The ballpoint's going to take that great, and that's what they want. That's the start of their setup, because then the Splatlings are going to lead the rest of the team in, and that's exactly what was happening there. So we had the Nautilus and the other two following up on the right. The ballpoint had this plan to stick the ballpoint up on the left, and they had that situated. So at that point in time, it made it really hard for Ludicrous Speed to pick a target to focus on, and I think they ended up picking on the ballpoint there, but I didn't see how they were actually approaching the ballpoint, if it was one at a time, or if they were actually using like something to displace it and then attacking the ballpoint, because I could see there was usually like 1 to 2 down. There was action going on behind that checkpoint because the view was on Calamari crew's Rainmaker holder at the time. So we couldn't quite see what was happening there, but either way, it created the extra man advantage for Calamari crew to get that dunk, and then it continued to happen again. They were getting those Splatlings set up, the front lines can move in, and Ludicrous Speed, you could see it was putting them into a bit of a panic there of which target to focus on. How do we do this when they have control of this side as well? What do we do first? You could see kind of it seemed like they weren't fully sure what to focus their resources on to be able to successfully defend. And they just had to definitely be patient enough before they went in on the entirety of Calamari crew's wall that was there. They just had to find the weak spot to be able to crumble the whole thing, and they managed to do it once there, but then you could see when Calamari crew got set up again, it was harder to stop the second time.
Yeah, I mean, once you get that sort of momentum on Scorch Gorge, you just can't go back from it. But we are looking at a new game here. We are going back into Inkblot on Clams. We did see this just in the last set as well, but I'm so ready to see it again here, see what different approaches we have for it. We are seeing that ballpoint once again, but rather uniquely, we have the mini Splatling onto the side of Ludicrous Speed, which I'm kind of a fan of seeing, you know, it's definitely out there. It's got that hammer, which was recently buffed to basically be like, it's so weirdly difficult to kill, which, you know, like maybe that could be displayed here a little bit, as it's already coming out. I have no idea where that person disappeared to, but like that hammer went and so did they.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what the strategy here for Ludicrous Speed is, and it looks like Gamer Hype here is going in for that extra flank, is able to get that one, just needs to dodge the wave breaker, but unable to keep themselves alive from the dually sculptures that were just on the other side. So we've got a couple neutral, some neutral situations here, and it looks like nothing, of course, really established. Of course, we just everything is still setting up. We've seen a hammer get thrown. Squiffer nearby as well. It looks like the Squiffer and the Mini are tag teaming here and there. 2 members go down on the side of the Calamari crew. Make that 3, and Ludicrous Speed has resources. They have a clam. There is the Wiper in the way, but the Wiper is able to stall it enough, and they aren't able to get that clam score. But the Squiffer popping the bubble to try to stay alive there. Tries to go for the clam. Does get splatted in the process, and that push that Ludicrous Speed had just set up there goes down pretty quickly thanks to the Wiper painting feet.
Yeah, what an unfortunate situation for them, but good job on the side of Calamari crew, able to stop that just in the nick of time, and sort of keep them back far enough from the basket that it was able to buy more time for their teammates to come in and bring a full stop to it as well. So we do see Mochi here sort of staying in plat, waiting for a more optimal time to get back into this with their teammates. They are kind of spotting out the other members of Ludicrous Speed who have sort of tried to occupy mid, but looking like they actually opted into retreating out of this, maybe spotting out something that was making them want to avoid this as well. Getting the pick on a TK, that is a great shot just onto that forehead there. So they are going to be moving back in. This is going to be their second attempt at getting a push, and we're halfway through the game. Neither team has made any sort of dent into these clam baskets whatsoever here.
Yeah, Ludicrous Speed had that chance in the first bit, but we can see they're now trying to go in with Hammer here, and of course Gamer wants to follow up with that Hammer, but it does get taken down in the base there with the members of Calamari crew being ready for it. And of course, the Zuka is also ready to go here, but being pushed back. The Wipe were able to get a pick before they go down. We can see it looked like an Inkjet got a pick there as well, and the basket is finally broken by Calamari crew, and they do have stray clams in behind that can continue to tick down the score little by little.
Yes, and they are getting under here. They have that wave breaker at the ready as well. That is going to help them hold up some pressure while they sort of pick up more points to deposit into this basket. And they're going to be wanting to keeping this open as long as possible to sort of whittle down the amount of time, that window that Ludicrous Speed will have afterwards in order to make their own push. So the longer they keep it open on their side, the longer they're not going to be able to push, because they're going to always have that anxiety of that basket being open. And somebody just sneaking in, because that is just a very real possibility for Clam Blitz. We do see Volter here playing very aggressively on the side, is not quite done with pushing up here, and does not want Ludicrous Speed to be able to leave their base here. And that is really the move you have to be making here when you have such a good lead and you're not really in a risky position at the time. They do have that pity clamp, but not a lot for follow-up on top of that. No one has really opted into picking it up, and I can't blame them either. They have not yet found a window that will work for them in getting this push here, and that Inkjet is gonna keep that up for them as well as they get this great pick onto that mini Splatling, and they have just been doing a superb job of holding down their ground here.
I liked what Ludicrous Speed was doing here, because even though the Inkjet got that pick, you could see that Ludicrous Speed actually shifted to one side, putting 3 members against 2 to try to give them the upper hand on the team fight. You could see the shift. Unfortunately, the Inkjet did get that pick off, but I like what they were doing there to try to establish more players on one side to get an upper hand. And even though it didn't go in their favor, I do applaud that attempt. And look at this machine in the corner here, just kind of sneaking up and over. They picked off one and then kind of dropped back around to help pinch on another, and then helps get a third. What a play on the machine right there for Calamari crew.
Yes, and Chow gonna be the clam holder. They're gonna have to keep that basket closed, but unfortunately for them, just one other member of Calamari crew was ready to finish that off and end overtime at that very moment, just closing off any opportunity that Ludicrous Speed would have had to sort of recuperate from that before.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ludicrous Speed, of course, like we saw, they had that opportunity at the start, and just trying to secure that clam basket, because note, the clam holder at the time who went for the score was the splash that had C.R.A.B. And unfortunately, instead of passing the clam to another player and crabbing to be able to get the basket open, to get other teammates to go there, it was just kind of rushed, so they lost the resource of having that crab on stack to be able to clear out that basket, and who could be in the way there. I can't remember if they had other resources online at the time as well, but that was a really solid start from Ludicrous Speed, and just unfortunately just a little bit of things couldn't use the resources to help secure that basket to get points scored there.
Yes, I just felt like Calamari crew was never letting up in that game. Once one push was done, the other one was already getting started. So just, you know, there was never a break in having to defend for Ludicrous Speed. They could never really move past that, because there was just this constant looming threat of one of the members of Calamari crew just running in and making moves happen in their base. And when that sort of game happens, you really have to, you know, get everyone together and focus on clearing out the problem, which just was never able to happen. I mean, like, Calamari crew was just, you know, always had the solution, always had the answer for every situation in that game.
Mm-hmm. The plans that they had, something that I like to see from the spectator view is you can see a plan that a team has being executed to how they want it to be. And like I said, like the Rainmaker game on the last one, you could see that they had what they wanted. That's how they wanted to set up, and that was just their plan going in motion. You could see it there. And for this clams game as well, you could see how like the inkjet was going to push there. Like they kept swapping around the clams, and once they had that get secured, they went in, scored it. They backed up a bit. You could see that they retreated a bit, make sure that they had space around them to hold it in and just trickle in little bits of points at a time for the clams that were kind of laying around on the plat there. But they didn't fully just rush on into anything. They backed up, made sure that their weapon could fight what was coming at them at the time, stalled them out, and get what they could for points. And then they continued to do it again there. And they also had a nice read on the counters as well. Like the time where I said I had to applaud Ludicrous Speed's call for putting 3 on one side to be able to attempt to get that man advantage to do a 3v2. But the Inkjet popped out at a solid time there, able to pick off the mini, making it more even. But with the Inkjet still having a couple shots left, made it a bit of tough. But you could see how the team switched there to try to get that advantage. And it was a nice switch in the middle of the game, because sometimes you have to shot call those things with your team to try to take a different side. And even though it doesn't work, you made the attempt. It was something different there that you've been doing the entire game to try to maybe pull it off. And then it's a learning experience, basically. If it doesn't work the first time, then you know what to be aware of. So in this case, like, be aware of the inkjet that they have ready at that point in time. But again, I like the swap that Ludicrous Speed did to try to create that advantage again, to attempt to have that other chance to push.
I think you covered that perfectly. You know, there is always sort of this game plan, and I find that a lot of teams tend to go for the same thing repeatedly, because like that's their idea. Like, this is how I'm going to win the game. And you know, people who are able to catch on to that are going to be able to address it quicker, right? And that is something you covered beautifully.
I love being able to pick out those things.
Yes, I'm not sure how. I think the stream is actually running faster than everything else. So I think we are going to take just another quick break just to give us some breathing time, some walk around time. I do encourage the viewers as well to not click out of the stream, but maybe just take a, you know, touch some grass, open a window, drink some water.
All right,
and we'll be back in a few. Yes. Yes. Well, we will be right back. Welcome back to Low Ink, everyone. It's Low Ink of May 2023. It's still me. It's still Debbie. We're in for the last round of Swiss, I believe. I don't think there's any more past this. Yes, that is what it shows on Battlefly. 6 is the last one. We're here to make it count. We have KokoRave versus Fractal here. Hi, Debbie. You said you knew nothing about either of these teams before we started.
I
I'm gonna
don't.
hand it off to you anyway.
Also, I don't know if I've been commentating with a person named me this whole time. I've been commentating with a person named Siren, but you know. Moving on. Anyway,
you don't know that.
Anyway, we got KokoRave and Fractal. I usually look at the rosters ahead of time to see like who's on it, especially with the teams I'm unfamiliar of, and both of them are surprise factors for me. So I don't really have any details on some of the players. The only one that strikes me as familiar is not Cookie, because I feel like I've run into them before, and someone asked me if it was my teammate Cookie, but it is not.
Yes, I mean, we are looking at Rebecca Black here making her Low Ink debut, which I don't think it's actually this person's Low Ink debut. I'm just Rebecca Black here. We are going to be going into Splat Zones on Brine Water Springs for both of these teams, which is for me, it's the first time I'm seeing this map played in competitive in a hot minute, but nevertheless, I am ready to see some splatooning here.
Yeah, you don't see it too often, but it does appear here and there. This one, of course, with my Splatling shenanigans, I have a fun time on. But I haven't done that in a good while. But we see that ballpoint appearing, followed by Flingza. Stamper appears. Nautilus is returning as well from these groups. So we've got a solid deal of weapons here. And this ballpoint in particular is running Drop Roller. So the other team, if they notice that, definitely want to be careful on the jump camps.
Yeah, definitely. They are going to have to be very careful about that as well. But notably on this map, I think there's a lot of angles for Inkjet to take in general where you're likely not going to be camped unless the enemy is already way too far up in your base to begin with. So it is an interesting pick, but you know, when you have one kit, you kind of just use it everywhere. With that being said, Super Joe here, fighting to stay alive in zone, is not going to quite make it out with their life. KokoRave taking this early lead starting into this here, but is getting heavily contested onto the zone here. Not Cookie going to be popping that hammer, moving up all the way into the faces of KokoRave here, not saying, hey, you're not allowed to leave your base right now.
Yeah, definitely trying to keep the other members back, just forcing the back even if they don't get the pick. That's still what they want, to be able to cap that zone. We see that they are getting the points now, and it is still early game. We'll see how far they can get down. It looks like one member, Fractal, went down around the zone there, which happened to be the ballpoint. Nautilus goes down in return, and zone's kind of going back and forth in control here. We see the missiles coming out from the Flingza. Flingza's in a place here to try to take the zone, but does have to turn around, is able to get that pick, because of course the high ground, Flingza fall off. That's rough to escape from sometimes in that corner.
Yes, a rough demise for Rebecca Black there onto the side of KokoRave, and we are seeing CS continuing to take up this left side of the map here as that zone continues to stay capped in their favor. They have not yet burned through that penalty yet, but this is the opportunity for KokoRave to get back in this. They do have a couple specials at the ready. They do have the Ingzuka if they decide to pop it as well. That hammer is going to be coming out. That C.R.A.B is going to dodge it as well. Just raining shots onto the zone here. Not going to get too much out of that, but that is going to be a 2-down delay onto the side of Fractal and a zone cap back into the favor of KokoRave here.
Yeah, everything's just kind of going back and forth there, but of course, KokoRave able to get that cap back on the zone, which means penalty is reapplied, and KokoRave now taking down the counter of their own. They do have a solid spot right now, and even takes down two members of Fractal up in their base, so this should be lead for them, as it's definitely really close here as the members spawn back. We see the Fizzy Bomb popping over top, followed by the torpedo, and cap is reclaimed, even though lead is retaken, but we still got 2 minutes and 15 seconds left, and of course these missiles landing in a pretty solid area. We see a fight going around in the corner here, and I thought the Wiper was going to get it, but the Stamper was able to succeed in that fight, zip casting away, trying to get that behind the members of Fractal, unable to get a pick, but was able to cause a little bit of distraction there.
Yes, and these points are ticking down quite a bit. That looks like it is going to be a lead switch into the favor of Fractal, followed up by that full wipeout here. Not Cookie is going to take this opportunity to get into their base, throw that hammer up into their faces, and is going to try and go for this knockout here as much as possible, backing up to get that sweet, sweet soda. And with 10 seconds left, Coco is going to have to run back into the zone here as quick as possible. They do have a couple specials on board. They are able to get that cap. Are they going to be able to get the wipe and get that Flingza rolling? Not quite, but this is a great way to stay into this game here. They do just have to keep holding this up for a little bit longer, though.
This Nautilus here just maintaining around the zone, not going on when they realize that there's pressure going on, but getting caught out by the ballpoint there, but does take down with. And zone cap again going back and forth there. This could still be anybody's game with a minute left. We see how these teams have been able to take back the zone using their specials left and right. We see this all-out brawl happening towards the zone. But even from before I discussed, remember when we're taking fights on the zone, because if you're going to go down on it, it ends up favoring the other team big time. Flingza ready for that Zipcaster, just bunks it on the head there, and Zipcaster goes down. The zone stays in the favor of Fractal. There's still two left. The ballpoint being on the zone. Flingza launching the missiles there to be able to see where they are. The ballpoint able to tap one member over there, but unable to get that pick. And the Stamper able to drop down on top and is able to get a second pick. It is just the Flingza left alive in this bottom corner here.
I do love me a good bonk. I want to see if Super Joe is able to pull off another one here, but staying alive and opting to stick into this one position on that left side, getting caught up by the members of KokoRave here who have noticed that they're there. They do have to be very careful of managing their priorities here, but that is going to be a 3 down onto the side of Fractal here. This is getting very tight. They basically have no penalty left. They only have to beat a score of 10. That's 20 points left. They do have some specials on the board. That chainsaw is going to go down as well. It's only 12 seconds left. Is this going to be it? There's so much blue paint going onto the zone here. It's just going to be that Nautilus and that shot going for it. It's a what? On Earth, they were just barely able to scrape through that with 2 members down, still able to hold up, but just enough paint to get those last couple points with much contest involved.
Oh my gosh. Like, no lead was safe for any of these teams. Like, they would get somewhere and it would look solid, but look at how well the other team is coming back in and countering, and then they'll hold, and then it's reversed, and then it's reversed, and it's just, you know, it's the constant Uno reversal cards that play, and then finally someone just, you run out of cards, and then it's just, boom, here's the +2.
Oh my gosh, that could have gone either way at the end there. What an insane overtime lead for them. And, you know, a bit of a, I guess you could say a bit of a punish for Fractal for not sealing the deal earlier when they were so close to knocking out the game a couple times in that game.
Mm-hmm. But even then, like I said, like both teams were countering each other well. Like they were being patient and not rushing in, so that way they could actually catch out where other teams are like could be like one ahead there. I didn't see how some of the members got caught out, how they got 3 down. There's a couple things I missed. But from what I could see is both played that well to go back to play defense successfully and take back the zone. Like we saw how close it was at the end there. It all came down to a team fight and who was going to win the basically the 1v1s with each other in the around the zone there, and it was that close.
Oh, I've already lost my breath just on that one game alone. I can't even imagine what the second game is gonna look like. Look, I'm a big fan of tower control on Sturgeon Shipyard, but I think everyone knows how this map can be at times. Like, you let up your attention for 1 second and then suddenly you blink and the game is over. But when it's this close with both of these teams, that is something that is slightly alarming to me, because that is the kind of this is the kind of set that I think is just going to go absolutely insane.
Mm-hmm. If the first game was that close, it could literally be the same thing throughout this entire set, or one team might just keep that advantage the whole way through and able to break through a defense and make sure that the offense is more successful. And with what the comps that we've seen so far, both of them have the ability to do it. We'll see what happens at the start of this match.
Yeah, so we are seeing kind of similar comps coming out. We do see Swagsworth going for that Nautilus once again. I do love pointing out these fun picks that I personally enjoy seeing as a spectator and commentator as well. So we are seeing this sort of approach into mid from both teams. We are seeing a very far up push coming out from the members of KokoRave onto this right side here. Is going to get the pick onto M. Moving up here, they have spotted out that Flingser Roller on the snipe here. That's already 2 down, and they are pushing this tower. They are not letting up in these first 30 seconds of the game here, and they are going for blood, Debbie.
Oh, that torpedo that landed, just catching off the Nautilus there. And right off the get-go, as soon as the game started, the Tri-Slosher on the side of KokoRave just went for it and blocked the side. And you could see that the rest of the team followed up, like with the Nautilus, and they basically collapsed on that side. They did get a little bit of a push off, but you can see just how ready Fractal was in return to be able to stop that. And of course, the torpedo being able to land really did help that team around the tower there.
We do see Not Cookie here taking up this right side here, is kind of trying to cause as much chaos as possible to sort of deal with the people absolutely overtaking this tower. Is not quite able to make any sort of dent in that as they clear that first checkpoint onto the side of KokoRave. At this point, Fractal is going to have to play very carefully here. They don't want to get into a position where they go multiple members down, and as I say that, I may have just cursed things terribly here, as we are seeing 3 members down onto the side of Fractal. This is in a very dangerous position. They are in the back foot now, as the members of KokoRave are also popping all these specials here. It's only 25 points left. There is no more checkpoint involved in this. Kira is up in their base. It's only a few members left. It's just going to be that Tri-Slosher Kira by this tower here. So it looks like they are actually able to stop it just in the nick of time. But once again, now it is a very, very difficult spot to be in here when you have no more checkpoints defending that base for you.
Yeah, that is really tough. The fact that KokoRave has broken all of those checkpoints makes it really solid for them, so they can just keep pushing it forward and stalling there. Meanwhile, Fractal still hasn't even gotten to the first one yet. There's so much pressure being output by KokoRave, and I know, like, even from the get-go there, like I said, that Tri-Slosher Kira on that Tri-Slosher is doing a solid job at helping hold forward on those ledges, and the Nautilus is following up well, followed by the Burst Bomb, and sometimes they will swap with their Stamper, and it is working out really well there, just keeping the front line.
Yes, as I say that, we're seeing multiple members of Fractal jumping into mid here. They are starting to get these picks, but they're going to have to be starting to follow this up with actually grabbing the tower. And, you know, sometimes when you're picking these fights, you do have to trust your teammates a little bit more to finish that off without all 4 members dogpiling one person. And, you know, because of that, it has caused a bit of a delay to the tower. CS opting into this flank route here to deal with that crab tank. But as I say that, it's just going to be M left on the tower. Basically, everybody on the side of Fractal going down in exchange for that first checkpoint, which is not what you want to be seeing more than halfway through the game, but nevertheless, it is what they are getting. So it is just going to be KokoRave now back in the position or the opportunity to try and end this once and for all and get that set win overall here.
Yeah, Kira's going over with the Inkjet, just adding some extra pressure with the exhaust and stuff. We see the Flings are trying to find a way around, but of course, getting dropped on by the splash from Snipe. The Crab is ready to go. It looks like they're trying to get up top and get initiated. We see it is happening and knew that one was following from behind. This Crab is in a solid spot, getting shot at from underneath. Is canceled from down below, but Kira able to get one in return. So it looked like 2 for 2 happens, and we see that the last 2 members are going to take a fight around a bridge here.
Yes, once again, Not Cookie, just absolutely ratting it up onto the side here. You know, at this point in the game, what do you say that Fractal is going to have to do in order to pull this one out, Debbie?
Something that they have to do is make sure that they keep that solid line against KokoRave's constant aggression there. They have a similar comp to do it there. They just have to beware of how they're going in, and you can see that how they're kind of jumping down into a closed area is something that they can't do in a spot like this. They have to just maintain the range, even if it lets them there. You want to try to get them to a spot where it's more safe for you to take the fight rather than just being able to drop in a corner and getting stuck. But you can see right now, Fractal is in a panic state, and they're just continuing to go in one at a time, trying to stop the tower, which is just going to allow KokoRave to KO.
Yes, a very difficult situation for them at the very end of the game. It's sort of one of those things where you just have to take advantage of the fact where your opponent is pushing in when they don't necessarily need to, and you just have to go in on that, pray that you get like a wipe out there, and then just move on from there and continue that momentum. But it just seems in that moment there that KokoRave just had so much going into it for them that they were able to basically take these fights one at a time and move into the base with little punishment involved.
Mm-hmm. And Fractal did have that one push ready for them that was looked like it was prepped to go, but they ended up playing that actually really well because they had the Crab on the grates, and we saw that Fractal's Tri-Slosher was going to go punish it, but even then, it trapped the other Tri-Slosher on the grate, and they were able to get picked off from down below, which assisted on help getting the the other members of KokoRave ready for their counter specials at the same time, and it ended up going in KokoRave's favor. And even throughout the entire game, you could see, like, right from the get-go, like I said, you could see they were not going to hold back. Every chance they had, every second of space that they were given by Fractal, they took it. Because, again, it's kind of the same thing, like with that Nautilus on the team there. They want to make sure that it gets up front and center and not stuck behind. Because if it gets stuck behind, it's not going to have as many advantage points. So KokoRave able to just keep going forward to make sure that Nautilus can get into a place where it wants to be, can move around, and they held mid very well together.
Yes, and now KokoRave in this position where they have basically won this set overall, but you do want those game wins on top of that. Just for context as well, when you're dealing with Swiss, there are times when you have the same win record as other teams in your pool. It does matter in those instances where you have a specific amount of game wins, because that's going to be the deciding factor of what brings you up a little bit higher in your group. So for that reason, KokoRave going into this third game here is going to be trying to close it out in a very clean set as well. But Fractal also has something to gain here. Again, like I said before, they do still want to continue working on this. They're going to be trying to put their best into this.
And the big thing here is if KokoRave is going to appear with the same pressure that they had in Sturgeon Shipyard, Fractal needs to find their way around it there, become that wall, kind of like how they were on Brinewater. Like, they were countering KokoRave really well on Brinewater. They can do it again with as long as they can keep communicating with each other, not panic, just stay still. Like, yes, if they have to sacrifice a couple points, they sacrifice some points. But as long as they can successfully defend and then push forward, they got this.
Yes, I totally agree with you here. And, you know, if I was in the position of Fractal, I would have some fire under my butt as well. It's the last game of pools for them now that we're looking at, and every little point matters, so now is the time to shine. Sparkle on, Fractal.
Okay, and we got something new that we haven't seen either, is the slosher here. The I can't remember which one that is, but this is a different slosher that we haven't seen
Slosher
yet.
Deco.
Yes, that one. I could not think of the word. That's how much I haven't seen it.
Yes, I believe this is the one with Zipcaster, actually. So I think a lot of people just sort of opt into playing other Zipcaster weapons instead of going into this one, but it's definitely a niche pick, and I do like seeing that on these vertical maps, such as Undertow. It does make a lot of sense here when you're dealing with a lot of these ledges, and as I speak of that, Super Joe getting picked off from underneath that ledge, that Zipcaster, as we spoke of, is going to be coming out as well. They've just nearly gotten to that checkpoint here, and they are able to break that just in time. Fractal, once again on that back foot, they're going to have to be very mindful getting back into this and trying to clear out the members of KokoRave as they're coming in from all angles here, taking that Grates. Kira's going to roll back, and CS is in a bit of a dangerous position here, is going to have to stop that Rainmaker before they're able to jump to the pedestal and able to stop and take the pick onto Rebecca Black just in time there.
Again, similar thing. This kind of feels like it's a continuing thing off of the Sturgeon Tower game. Fractal is doing a similar thing that they did before and was basically going in one at a time to the rest of KokoRave. And with how KokoRave was positioned with their midliners in the way and the frontliners just underneath, they're able to pick that off no problem if there's no other help with the members of Fractal just jumping into KokoRave. But they were able to defend it, and we do see that the Flingza opted to pick up the Rainmaker here, and it looks like they do have it back towards mid, but they don't have the advantage. They did lose the Stamper there, and KokoRave is all around each corner here, just not letting them buy.
Kira going to be sneaking around these corners, getting the pick onto the Rainmaker there, getting spotted out by that chainsaw onto the side of Fractal here. But we can see all four members of KokoRave getting that pop once again onto that Rainmaker. They might be going to opt in taking it left once again, as we see here that Zipcaster is going to be coming out rather early on. But I think this is less of an opportunity for them to get points and more of them just to apply pressure onto the members of Fractal. I think this fully went into that understanding they weren't going to get that knock knockout, but at the same time, it is going to shock Fractal. It is going to make them look at that Rainmaker and deal with it as to avoid not getting knocked out this early on.
Something interesting is that the Rainmaker was the only one who went left. The rest of KokoRave went to the other side. So I think, again, a little bit of a miscommunication there, because we could see the this way from the Rainmaker, but the rest of the team was pushing up pretty solidly on the other side. The Rainmaker just kind of went and took the opposite hand and didn't quite go with their teammates on the right. But either way, putting it on that left-hand side still keeps it there in a solid spot for them to go around. They still had teammates up in that top corner. Like, this aggression is never ending from KokoRave.
You know what, Debbie? I disagree with you. I don't know if that was necessarily a miscommunication and more of an elaborate decision from them to do that, because they have now put Fractal in a position where they have to look left and deal with that fight, or they have to look at that Rainmaker. And you know, when you split your attention on objective and the actual fight, things like this can happen where KokoRave is just able to get that Rainmaker knockout due to the attention constantly being split there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and no, and the reason why I said it could have been miscommunication, because usually you want the Rainmaker to follow up with at least like one other person or with the teammates, and usually the one on the left-hand side isn't the Rainmaker, but yeah, no, in another sense, it could just be a distraction on the left-hand side. It's just something you rarely see, which could be a thing, but the fact that there was a this way call is what made me think otherwise.
Yes, I think everything they sort of planned out there was pretty deliberate in this set, and cleaning it out with a very strong 3-0, despite, you know, that first game being so close. I think, you know, games like that can definitely shake you a little bit and force you to rethink. And you know, Fractal did do very, very well in this set, but sometimes those like waves can just, you know, impact every game after it as well.
Yeah, absolutely, and you could kind of see it from there, just trying to get the pressure from there, and it seemed like KokoRave was doing a lot more tag teaming and then pushing up as a unit there, and then, like I said, it was Fractal going in and relying on their singular mechanics sometimes when they jumped into a fight thinking that they had a guaranteed pick, but of course didn't go in their favor because they may have traded, but in the end it still came out for like another person's favor because they still had the pressure from that extra person following up, and then they could just continue to hold where they left off. And it was just making sure that they didn't rush and just had that little bit of patience still there to be able to fire back with their own power and resources at the ready.
You know, sometimes, like, talking to you, I'm so ready to add to this, and then you just say everything that is like relevant to the discussion. It's like you've summed up everything that could be said about that, and you are so right. Like, just listen to Debbie. Like, I don't even know why I'm here.
You're not the only one that says that, so I'm like, I guess I talk too much sometimes.
As long as you're saying the right thing, it's not bad, you know? And you're saying the right thing. I'm just like, how do I add to this? Like, this is...
but that is the last round of Low Ink Day 1. We have gone through all 6 rounds, so we will be closing out here. And before we do, Siren, where can the people at home find you?
I think my tag was on the screen for a little while, but it isn't right now. But I will tell you, it is at Siren Banshee, both on Twitter and Twitch. Basically, the only places I would want you to find me. They are there. I don't have anything else to say other than that, but I was really glad to be here for my first Low Ink stream, and I'm very happy that I got to do it with you, because I've been looking forward to commentating with you for a long time, Debbie.
Well, I'm glad we could make that a great experience for you. Hopefully it was a great experience for you. And for those curious to know where I'm at, for Twitter, you can find me at Debbie Doovie, Twitch at Debbie_Doovie, and I make a lot of frequent appearances in the chat and Squid School, chatting with you fellow students. So that's where you can find me. And of course, we still have lots of action for Low Ink Day 2 tomorrow. You guys get to see who makes what bracket, and of course, Alpha bracket will be up on the stream here for you. So, keep up your hype, rest up, and be prepped for Day 2 tomorrow.
See you then.
Ba, ba, ba.